didn't go to, and that was Fightful, and I absolutely should have done that, because had I have clicked on that, I would have seen that it is being reported that, or at least they're being told, should word it that way, that he has stepped down from every aspect of the company. Now, the only thing I would say is that that was not included in the statement. The statement says that he is retired from chairman and CEO. He is still the majority shareholder, and he's still you cut him and he's gonna bleed WWE. Like, I'm really struggling to believe that he is now completely gone from the company. And I'm not alone in that, because Fightful have heard from talent that have said they'll believe it when they see it. So my feeling on it is, this is big news. He's not going back to CEO. He's not going back to chairman. Like, it is big news. No one's denying that. I could see him even stepping away for a while from all roles in the company, so that, whilst this investigation is going on. So, we've got... obviously, a lot that's happening and a lot of smoke in the kitchen. If he's found, guilty of these things, or if there's, reasonable doubt or whatever, and, some of it doesn't add up, obviously, they're looking into if this money has been paid from business money as well. That was another aspect that doesn't get really spoke about that much, and that should be quite easy to establish, let alone, what's actually happened, but, how he made the payments for the hush money. That should be easy to establish where that money came from. So, if it all goes and turns out that it was wrongdoing, then, look, he's gone, isn't he? He's gone. He'll still be the majority shareholder, and I don't know what it'll mean for that, but the company will move forwards, obviously, without him. I would imagine, there completely. If he is found to be, I don't want to say innocent, because, obviously, the stuff that we just might never know the truth on, but if that hush money wasn't business money, it was personal money, if it's a case that they've sat him down and they're quite happy with his side of the story, or if there's a good alibi, I can't have done that because I was here at the time, or whatever it might be, then there's probably a chance that he'll still be involved and still be involved in creative and things along those lines, because I don't think that he's doing this because he wants to. He hasn't. I know that his statement said, "I'm 77. It's time for me to retire." We all know, if it weren't for these allegations, he wouldn't. He'd be carrying on. I mean, he was expected to be there until the end of time. So for him to step away now is massive. It is massive. And for him to obviously have to, put that statement out there is something that I never expected to see. So it is huge. It is absolutely massive news. But let me try and jump to some of these super chats. So Anna said, it worries me, why now? Has the media got more coming out? There's been reason why he's leaving now. There has to be a reason why. Apparently they said that this was decided last week, is what I've read. So this is something that's been in the works for a little while. And actually, Titus opened the show on Raw with that speech. It kind of was a bit, do you know what I mean? So you could be right. There could be some more stuff that's about to come to light. And maybe this is a way of, just before that drops, making sure that they have distanced themselves from him. So it's an excellent point, Anna. Excellent point. Elliot said, this is clearly a push from within for him to go. WWE is his, but it's also a mega business. He's been told, go on your own terms before we push you, says Elliot. Could have been. Yep, could have been. It's difficult, isn't it? Because we don't know if it's a case that there's more dirt that's coming out, like Anna just said. Because if there is something that's about to drop, then that might have been the straw that broke the camel's back. So it could be that, you could both be right. He could have been told, you need to go now before this comes out. And there could be a reason for it, because, the timing is always going to be interesting. I always think the wording of the statements is very, very interesting, because those things, are gone over by lawyers. Like, that's not just Vince sitting down with a pen and just writing down his thoughts. Lawyers will look over those things and make sure it is absolutely worded 100%. There's nothing that can be picked apart from it. It's all above boards. There's no mixed messaging, blah, 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 blah. So, that's why I was so interested in the statement, because the wording is very, very important. In there it says, as I pointed out, he's retired from CEO and he's retired with chairman. There's no mention of him stepping away completely from WWE. As of right now, that is just something that the dirt sheets are saying that they've heard. So I am leaning to that being true. I am leaning to it, him like walking away completely at the moment. Doesn't mean that he can't come back. But what we do know is he won't be coming back in that CEO chairman role. And honestly, you got more questions than answers, really, at the moment. And no one was expecting this. No one was expecting this. Or certainly outside of those that knew. I mean, when that news dropped earlier about Triple H returning to his executive kind of role for talent relations again, that was an interesting development. But you kind of put that down, or I put that down, to Stephanie kind of twisting Vince's arm. I don't think that's something Vince was looking to do, but it didn't surprise me that Steph went into that kind of interim chairman, CEO role, and then, a few weeks later, here's Triple H back again. Like, I wasn't massively surprised by that. So that one kind of felt like it was just that. I certainly didn't think, this means that Vince is going to like, there was no way you could make that connection. So massive news, which I don't know, I can't say I was that surprised by with the Triple H stuff, which is clearly connected now, and apparently there's going to be more movement. I mean, Kevin Dunn is teetering. Andrew said, what are your thoughts on Vince retiring and Brock? So Vince retiring, I'm very shocked. I can't give you the answer as to why it's happened now. No one knows. The only thing that I can say that I think might be a bit different to what other people are saying is that the statement says he's retired as CEO and chairman. Doesn't say anything about him leaving completely. Yes, the dirt sheets are saying and reporting that. So, let's get on the same page. Like, as far as we know, he is just going for maybe forever. But my feeling is that if he does weather this storm, if it does come back, that, I just feel like it's hot in the kitchen right now. He needs to get out of the way, and that's what he's doing. And I think that once that's settled down, and hopefully he's been proven to be innocent, because I think we can all agree if he is guilty of these things, none of us want him around. I mean, there's, little misconducts and misdemeanors, and then some of this stuff is pretty heavy stuff. That one in particular about where he's alleged to have forced a talent into engaging in sexual acts. I mean, she got paid $7.5 million apparently. So, there's heavy stuff here. We have to be very careful in not, it's really difficult because we don't know what's to come as well. I mean, I would love to sit here and be like, man, he got so much wrong, but I don't want to say he got the big things right, because he might not even have done that, but every great moment we've had in WWE is because of him. And so it's very difficult to sit here and think about The Undertaker, think about Shawn Michaels, think about WrestleMania, think about Hulkamania, think about the Attitude Era, think about the Ruthless Aggression, think about, the history, Royal Rumble, everything that we've experienced is down to him. Like, but all the bad stuff as well. So as much as I want to sit here and I want to just go celebrate what he's done because it feels like that's what you should do, it's hard to do that because you don't know what's around the corner and you don't know what's coming. I agree with Anna. WWE Central said, Days, I just finished my 10th Pepsi. I feel like my willy is going to turn into a rocket ship and take off to space so that I can wee in Vince's ear so that you can reach 92. Yeah, I mean, I just wouldn't drink any more Pepsi, but I really would stay off it. It's, there's things that just don't agree with certain people, and clearly Pepsi's one that doesn't agree with you, pal. It really doesn't agree with you. And honestly, I wouldn't do that to Vince. He's got enough problems at the moment. Alexis says, we wish Vincent Kennedy McMahon the best on his future endeavors. Looking forward to UFC at O2 Arena, Ring of Honor, Death Before Dishonor. Yeah, it's a busy weekend this weekend. I'm kind of like that on Death Before Dishonor as to whether we do it or not. Clearly the past hour or so I've had even less time to think about that, so I still don't know on that front. Obviously we're going to be all over UFC, very much looking forward to that. But clearly at the moment Vince McMahon is the conversation. Real said, such a boring news day. Steph is kicking off the show, says Blue Scorpion. This is what we're going to get a lot of now. We're going to get a lot of this quick, fast-moving, breaking news. Spoke about Brock Lesnar. So Brock Lesnar has apparently walked out as well, which is absolutely massive. And so he's walked out, and apparently if he was to go, then like he said, if Vince was to go, I'm going as well. So on hearing the news, that's what did it. WrestleVote said, I'm hearing the same Brock Lesnar chatter. He left TD Garden in Boston upon finding out about Vince's retirement. It's unbelievable. That's from WrestleVotes, and that was an hour ago. WrestleVotes also said the most impactful person in the history of pro wrestling, GOAT. So WrestleVotes putting a bit of praise on Vince. WWE has announced Triple H will resume his role of EVP. That was earlier in the day. So WrestleVotes have only put those three things out. I have caught up with Fightful, as I said, to see what they're saying. I can read you what they're saying, actually, because I do have access to their Patreon. Let's go into Fightful. So Fightful are talking about the fact that they've been told some stuff from backstage. I've already kind of hinted on this. It's the update that I think's really... Oh, second update. Here we go. So the update, it was confirmed to us by WWE that Vince McMahon is retiring from all active roles in the company and claim it's not a storyline. I have to keep coming back to this point, though, and I know that I'm laboring it a little bit, but that was not in the statement. And I think the reason it's not in the statement is because you don't really need to announce that he's leaving all active roles. Because if he does want to return and can return, then obviously the door is still open for that. But in all fairness, even if they had announced it, the door's always open. I mean, his daughter's the co-CEO. He built the company. He's the majority shareholder. I'm really struggling as to why they didn't say in the statement that he's retired from all active roles. And I know that the lawyers go through that with a fine-tooth comb. So I feel like the news today is that he's not returning to CEO and chairman. And I feel like he is getting out of the kitchen. So I definitely think that he is going to be stepping away for a while. But I can't sit here and say that he's not going to be involved in WWE in the future. And I think that that's a big kind of thing to remember as well. I cannot sit here and say that is it, he is done. He will not be backstage. He will not be involved in creative. I'm not there. Mentally, I haven't got to that stage because the statement didn't say that. And I just think that what's he going to do? Do you know what I mean? What's he going to do? What's he going to do with himself? He just bleeds WWE just 24/7, working all the time. We always hear about him, getting power naps and then retired from CEO and chairman. But that's basically a way of saying I'm not going to go back to those roles. So I'm still really struggling with him completely going. And that's not me just struggling to accept it. It's me struggling to believe that's what's actually happening, like that is what they're doing, because it's not been put in the statement. So, but I'm telling you the whole story. Fightful are being told that he's retiring from all active roles. That's been put out there. Steph and Nick Khan as co-CEOs. That eliminates the interim title from Stephanie's role. And that was made last week. There is immediate internal rumors Brock was peed off and left. Alvarez reported that. We've also heard that rumor. It's confirmed to us that Brock Lesnar was slated to be all over SmackDown tonight. We haven't heard on if there's any plans on returning. All hands on deck meeting. Wasn't all hands on deck as originally portrayed, yeah, because as soon as that news came out, they said all the superstars were in a meeting. All hands on deck, kind of panic stations, Cobra meeting type thing, but apparently it wasn't really that. It was just Vince kind of speaking to a few of the talents. It was just a quick goodbye to the people that were there, apparently. As I said, I do expect him to get out of the kitchen. It's hot in the kitchen at the moment, so I'm not surprised that he's saying goodbye. Internal message to staff received that Vince was retiring. He wants to continue to wave the flag for WWE. Talent were told in a meeting at Money in the Bank that Vince was there to stay and he wasn't going anywhere. So as recently as Money in the Bank, the talent was told he wasn't going anywhere. From several people in the company, we've not been told who's running creative things for these shows at this point. There is rampant and unconfirmed reports that talent expect Kevin Dunn to be the next to leave, even though Kevin Dunn and Bruce Pritchard are the points of contact for tonight's show. When the same talent speculated that John Laurinaitis would be ousted, that ended up being true. Kevin Dunn was part of that talent meeting today. Vince is actively being investigated for sexual misconduct. We know about that. Second update, Fightful has learnt that SmackDown has rewritten to not feature Brock Lesnar, so it looks like Brock Lesnar is not on the show. Producers and some members of creative were told that Bruce Pritchard is taking over Vince's television duties moving forwards. Producers were also told that Bruce Pritchard is taking some direction from Vince as that transition takes place. We will constantly update as and when we get any more news. So, very interesting. Very interesting. Looks like Brock is not on the show tonight. Mitchell, hello. Mitchell said, not sure if you've mentioned or not. I'm just wondering if Vince is going to retire from creative stuff or just corporate stuff. So, yeah, that's been the big talking point. For me personally, I think that he will still be around. He's the majority shareholder. And, you know, what's he going to go and do? Fish. It's really going to come down to what happens. He's out the way for the short term, right? I think what we can all agree on is that Vince has gone in the short term, right? He's gone from being chairman. He's gone from being CEO, right? They had Stephanie there in an interim position, and now it's a permanent one. So it's her and Nick Khan, co-CEO, right? And Nick Khan, I mean, he's just come in and just gone through the ranks, isn't he? So, I mean, an incredible rise from Nick Khan. But I think we can all agree that Vince has gone in the short term. I think it depends on what happens with this investigation. And I think that if there's any way forward for him out of that, I could see him coming back in. Because, honestly, what's he going to do? I mean, I just don't think he's going to want to do anything else. I don't think he's going to want to go away and learn golf. I don't think he's going to want to go away and just read a book. Like, I think that he wants to be a part of the business world. He wants to work. He's a workaholic. And this is clearly not his decision. So I think that it really depends now on what comes out of those investigations. And as Anna said earlier, and I do agree with her, is the timing, is it happening now because there's more that's about to drop and some bad stuff that's about to drop? Don't know. So, short term, he's completely out of it. Long term, we don't know. The statement says that he's gone from CEO and chairman, but Fightful are reporting it's all duties. Right, Alexis, we wish him on the future endeavors. Right, so I got to that one. I don't know if I saw Gaming in Real Time or Delwyn. I want to see if I can find those. Let me go up. Delwyn, I found yours. Gaming in Real Time. Gaming in Real Time, I can't see yours. Gaming in Real Time, put in what yours was and I will read it. Jim said, Stephanie is kicking off the show tonight. Delwyn said, Days, there's big news. PW Insider have been... there's a pretty positive reaction in the locker room from Vince's retirement. WWE is looking for new energy in the creative team. That is big news. I mean, I feel like backstage don't want... I mean, I think that there's going to be... anytime you hear about a wrestler leaving WWE, they always have praise for Vince. Or maybe not always. I mean, I'm thinking Ryback. But by and large, I've been very surprised at the amount of people that have lost their jobs, been released, and they always praise WWE. I think Nia the other day called herself a Vince girl. And it's that kind of... He's got a way of, like, when you're face-to-face with him, like, sweet talking you or whatever. And he does a really, really good job of that. I think that they will be wanting to move on. I think that the locker room is going to have been, hurting a little bit by having him around, not knowing if he was guilty of those things, not knowing what the future holds. It's kind of like, Man United they've sacked their manager, they just had an interim manager, and the team was awful. It was awful because we had no real direction. We didn't know if this guy was sticking around. We didn't know if there was a new manager that was coming, and the team was awful. Now we've got a new manager. Boom, they're looking really good again. And I feel like that's where WWE has been. Like, once Vince was in charge, that's the man. No one doubts that's the man. That's the man. So you listen to the man. But with Vince now out of the picture and Steph up there and Vince kind of still around, it's kind of uncomfortable because he is still the man, but he's not really the man. And we don't know what's happening. And is he going to be here? And is he going? Or is he going to go back to being CEO? And it's all just really a bit... So it kind of feels like they will react positive to this because there's clear direction now. Clear direction. Steph, Nick Khan, I think they really like Steph as well. So I think that there's probably going to be some optimism. It's very difficult because what Vince has achieved is no one matches it. Vince is the most important person in the history of pro wrestling. But we don't know what he's guilty of or if he's guilty. So it's very difficult to sit here and kind of put any praise on him because we don't know what he's done. Carnvia, hello. Shout out to you, my friend. I hope you are well. Appreciate the support, buddy. I'm looking for gaming in real time because I feel like I might have missed gaming in real times. And whilst I was reading that statement. So I am just looking specifically for gaming in real time. And I did say gaming in real time, put it in the chat. But no one ever listens to me. I don't even know why I bother. No, of course. In my mind, gaming in real time ran away in tears. In my mind, put a comment in. I didn't get a chance to read it. And just sat in the corner right now, just weeping. Slowly weeping away. If you are there gaming in real time, yeah, dry your eyes. Get a tissue, sort yourself out, and put your comment back in. Don't super chat it, and I will read it. I'm specifically looking for it now, gaming in real time. So, I'm here. I'm here for you. As I said, the report is that Goldberg will face Roman at SummerSlam. That stinks of desperation. I think it should be Seth. What report? Where's that come from? Give me a source so I can go to it. There was news coming out that HBO is about to drop a massive story. They were filming Summer about his allegations, and it's meant to drop soon. That's interesting. I mean, that's massive, isn't it? It's absolutely massive. This whole thing is going to change the landscape because, I mean, we can move on in a second to what this actually means, but what it means is big things. Big things. Rob said your mic is cutting out. Oh. Wow, maybe I'm shouting, maybe it's clipping or something. Thank you. Linda said HBO has already announced it. Did you hear that Sheamus wanted his release, but WWE said no because they need him? No. I can't say I have heard that, no. I actually want to see a pineapple in charge. I'm still waiting for gaming in real time, and it's bugging me now. I don't know where it's gone. Edward said, how do you feel about the Vince news? I think Ronda wins at SummerSlam now. If Brock is off the card, what do you think about this comment and all of this? Days versus Roman at SummerSlam confirmed. Well, that's a big question, Edward. I mean, my feelings... I'll answer how I feel about Vince. My feelings about Vince are... he's a legend. He's the most influential person in the history of wrestling. I think that all your favorite moments are because of him. All your least favorite moments are because of him. I mean, really, if you're passionate about wrestling and you are passionate about WWE, I think we've all got something that, as much as it hurts us, we've all got to thank Vince in a way. Even those that are lapsed fans, even those that are now with AEW and don't want anything to do with WWE, if at some point they watch WWE, and enjoyed it, be it the Attitude Era, whatever, they've still got a part of them that has got, like, you know, some thanks for Vince McMahon, because as much as they might have got turned off to the product, at some point they were turned on to it. So I think they, I want to sit here and I want to sing his praises and I want to say thank you and I want to show my gratitude for, you know, the fact that, you know, he's given me, you know, a form of entertainment that I absolutely have, you know, loved my whole life, to the point where I've got a YouTube channel based pretty much on it. And we do these watch-alongs all the time, and we've done retro watch-alongs, and we do figure videos and all that kind of stuff. And it's all down to him. And I don't want to sit here and lay into him, and I don't want to sit here and all that kind of stuff. But I can't sit here and praise him because I don't know if what he's being, you know, alleged of is true. If he has been forcing someone, I mean, at the moment it's one person, but it could be more, to, you know, engage in, like, sexual acts and whatever, and, you know, making them do things that they don't want to do. That's what is bugging me. You know, pressuring people, being in that authoritative position and using that position of power to, you know, kind of force people into relationships, force people into affairs, force people into doing, like, you know, sexual acts. I mean, honestly, it's bad. It's really, really bad. And I can't sit here and praise him not knowing where the truth lies. So that's how I feel about it. I would love to know the truth. I would love to know the truth. I would love to sit here and sing his praises, but I don't know what the truth is. PW Insider reported it that Goldberg could replace Lesnar next Saturday. I think it's hypothetical. I genuinely believe it'd put a lot of people off. PW Insider are reporting it. Are they saying that it is him, or that it could be him? Because I can think of a lot of people that I would rather it be, to be honest. I'm just on their website. Latest headlines: Vince announces retirement, Triple H back in power, Steph kicking off SmackDown, WWE personalities react to Vince's retirement, Lesnar pulled from SmackDown, Lesnar walks out of SmackDown. Yeah, oh, did you see the Tony Khan comments? Oh my god. Oh, I just want to punch him in the face. I just want to absolutely punch him in the face. Do you know what? He turns me off AEW. He really, really does. He really, really does. I'm really starting to dislike him. Like, get an actual dislike for him. So, if you haven't seen it, and this will backfire on him. This will backfire. Has he deleted it? He might have deleted it. He might have deleted it. No. 3 hours ago, thanks to all the wrestling fans and your great support of AEW, I'm grateful to now be the longest tenured CEO in pro wrestling. So now he's saying that he's grateful that he's the longest serving CEO in pro wrestling. First of all, how does he know that? In fact, I would argue he absolutely can't be, because how long has the guy in charge of AAA been there? How long has the guy in charge of CMLL been there? How long has the guy in charge of New Japan Pro Wrestling been there? How long has the guy in charge of Rev Pro been there? How long has the guy in charge of Stardom been there? How long has the person in charge of Impact been there? Like, how is he? Is he the longest tenured CEO in pro wrestling? Because I'll find a company. I'll find a promotion. Don't you worry about that. There'll be one out there where someone has been in charge since well before 2019, right? So shut up, first of all. And it's just designed. I don't know what it's designed to do. Is it designed to be funny? Because it's not funny. Is it? He's not even a heel. If he was a heel, then maybe I could at least go, oh, he's playing it up as a heel. But he's not a heel. He comes out hugging people. Well, I mean, he's a creep. That's what he is. clinging onto flipping a Carder like a life raft. And now he's gone on to flipping Twitter. I'm great. Is that necessary? Is it necessary? It's not necessary, is it? It's not necessary. It's not necessary to come out with that comment, is it? Is it? And what's it designed to do? Is it designed to be funny? Because it's not funny. Is it designed to play to the AEW audience? Because I've said before, right? I've said before that AEW and Tony Khan in particular are guilty of turning AEW and WWE into a war, right? Yes, WWE are guilty of it as well, but AEW continue to take little sniping shots, and it could be on their show, it could be in an interview, it could be on Twitter, but, you know, Tony Khan I remember the one that sticks out is, like, he told Dana at a dinner that Money in the Bank was on at the same time as UFC, and Dana didn't know. And it's just like this smarmy little kid that goes up to Dana, did you know that Money in the Bank's on at the same time? I thought you might like to know. Oh, no, I didn't. Oh, yeah. Vince is trying to run a show at the same time as you. He's trying to run a show at the same time. Shut up! Does my head, man. Honestly. I look at that and I'm just like, man, not the time. Not the time. Unless he knows some stuff about Vince and about, like, his guilt and stuff like that, I feel like he's on a very different wavelength to the rest of us. And it's just a dig. It just comes across like a dig. It's just another... It's just another... This guy. Coming in here with his daddy's money. I mean, look, AEW do some decent stuff. I'm quite happy to admit that. I enjoy watching their product. They do some decent stuff. It's not even a knock of AEW. It's 100% a knock of Tony Khan. It's a 100% a knock of Tony Khan. I'd love to knock him over. That's what I'd love to knock. Grateful to now be the longest tenured CEO. I don't know if you've seen the responses to it. Lots of people saying, one day I hope you'll learn to grow up. Here we go. Look, someone saying you're wrong. The CEO of Anthem Entertainment is the longest running CEO. Yeah, exactly. That was my thought as well. It's not even factual. It's not even factual. You just want to say something for the sake of saying it. You just want to make some noise. Something's happening and I've got to make a noise. I'm the longest reigning CEO in wrestling. No, you're not. You're not. Yeah, I am. No, you're not. Shut up. Go and hug someone like a creep. Yeah, it wound me up, that did. I read it and I was like, oh, it's in my head. I can just imagine. Anna said, tonight has got to be hard for Steph. At the end of the day, this company has been her and her family's life. If she acknowledges her dad's situation, and Tony Khan needs to remember Billy Corgan, the idiot. Yeah, Billy Corgan, yeah, very true. Yeah, very true. I bet Billy Corgan's like, spat out his whatever he drinks, purified air or something, I don't know. And, yeah, I bet when he read that, it was like, excuse me, what? Yeah, I agree. This is going to be tough for Steph. I would imagine what she's going to come out and say is she's going to thank her father, right, for his work and wish him the best on his retirement. They are going to focus on the fact that he is retiring. So that she'll come out, she'll focus on his retirement. She will talk about an exciting future. And actually, that's something that we need to kind of turn our attention to, because it is an exciting future. Because I feel that you could now, with Vince out of the way, look to bring back The Fiend, right? I know that's something that a lot of people are going to be wondering, and I don't know if the conversation has got to that point yet, but there's clearly a groundswell of fan base for him. We've seen how much he's dominated the conversation with, these Edge vignettes. And so, I think the barrier to him coming back has just been removed. I think the one reason why I was always saying he won't come back, is because he had that falling out with Vince. And, Vince doesn't want to work with him. Vince's creative ideas are different to The Fiend's. Vince is very much my way or the highway. Yeah, he will listen to people, take on board what they say, but once he's made his decision, that is it. And I think that the Fiend character, that I think was very personal to Bray, because he had a very definite idea, and I understand it. If I created a character and knew exactly what I wanted it to do, I don't want someone coming in going, well, how about he does this now? And you're like, no, I don't want him doing that. That's not what he does. I could understand there being a reluctance for that character to, you are watching it moving away from what you wanted it to be. And so, I have sat here since Bray had got released, and I have said, he's not going to come back. He's not going to come back. He's not going to come back. Not whilst Vince is there. Not whilst Vince is there. Not whilst Vince is there. Do you think Bray's coming back at this show? No, I don't think Bray's coming back at this show because Vince is still there. And he fired him. So you tell me why that would have changed right now. Right? And all of a sudden, I can't say that now. I can't turn around and say Vince is there because he's not. Even if it is short term, whilst he's gone, and we don't even know how long for, because even if it's short term, you could be looking a year. You could be looking longer. I mean, it's massive news. Even if it's short term. So I think that you could now start to think about WWE really going in a different direction. I do think it would take time, though. I think if you're expecting this to turn into AEW or, become something drastically different, I think you're wrong. These people have worked under Vince. They know what works. They know what gets ratings. They know what the crowd wants. And some of that stuff Vince might not have been giving them for personal reasons. Like he had creative differences with Bray. So you don't have Bray. They could get Bray. Now, Vince has gone. We love the Fiend character. We want to give you some, creative control on it, blah, 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 blah. I could absolutely see that. I could see that. And Sasha and Naomi as well. I think Vince has gone. We are going to look at our procedure for, how if you don't like the script, you can provide feedback and scripts will be not changed last minute anymore, blah, 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 blah. Whatever this looks like under Stephanie, under Nick Khan, whatever they bring in now, I think this is... It's a bold new future. It's a bold new world, isn't it? And as I said, even though Vince is still the majority shareholder, he's going to have some influence. He's going to be talking to Steph, telling her what works, what doesn't work, do this, do that. I would imagine she will largely listen to him, but I do think she will. She's her own woman. I do think she will make her own decisions as well. And some of them Vince might not agree with. If she turns around and says, I am fully aware of, the support for the Fiends, or the support for Sasha and Naomi, or the will and the desire by the fans for them to come back. I want to bring them back. I know that's not something you want to do, but, I want to do this kind of a thing. He is the majority shareholder. He does have a say, but I think she can get some of those things through. I think she can get some through now. My position on that has now changed because the situation has drastically changed. So I think it's going to be very interesting. Mitchell said, do you think Cody is in line for any jobs? No, I don't think so. Not at this stage, anyway. Not at this stage. He needs to get himself back and get himself healthy again so he can get in ring. I mean, look, long term, he's the son of Dusty Rhodes. He's set up an AEW, helped set that up. He knows how all of that works. I don't think WWE necessarily need that kind of insight expertise. I mean, they're pretty covered. But listen, if he sticks with this company and works with Steph and whatever, I mean, he could eventually go into that. I mean, we see tons of wrestlers that go into being producers. Jeff Jarrett is like head of live events. So, do you know what I mean? You've got Jeff Jarrett that's doing a pretty high up position. He came through wrestling. Of course, he's part of the Jarrett family, but then Cody Rhodes is part of the Rhodes family. So, I'm going to say right now, no. In the future, yes, no doors are closed. But I would have said that anyway. I think that once Cody retires, if he sticks with WWE and wants to do something higher up within the company, I think that option was likely there for him. I think they would have found something for him. Rachel said, let's see what happens in the future of WWE. Indeed. It's going to be very, very interesting. Very interesting. Let's go up to Cal. Cal said, Sean Rossap just said on a live stream about the retirement, he could see Bray, Braun, Gargano, Cross, and Scarlett coming back now. That's interesting. I agree with him on... well, I don't know. To be fair, I don't know that Johnny Gargano was turning it down because of Vince. I tell you what this does mean, though. I mean, what does it mean for those smaller wrestlers? Vince has always been a barrier for the smaller wrestlers. And, you know, maybe that was a factor for Johnny Gargano, but I never quite considered it that way. I never thought of it that way, that was a barrier for Johnny. I always just presumed that Johnny would just go for it. He wants to get to WrestleMania. I think he will have seen, like, Daniel Bryan and Brett and Shawn. He'll know that if you're good enough and if you can win over the fans in particular, there is always a way forward. So he will know that. So in my mind, Johnny Gargano, I felt quite good there was a chance he would return to WWE. He is passionate about wrestling, but he has got a real soft spot for WWE. I mean, he collects, like, the Mattel figures. He was tweeting the other day that he's made a promise to himself he'll go to San Diego Comic-Con next year. And I've just got a feeling that he would love... I think WrestleMania in particular is a big draw for him. And AEW don't have anything like that. You know, they're growing and they're getting to 20,000. And, you know, in all fairness to AEW, they have got the longest serving CEO of all time, ever. So, you know, that's got to be something that would influence his decision. But I think that WWE, was always looking quite good for Johnny. I was always quietly confident that I could see him go the main roster. I think his time away right now is literally because he's had a kid. That is it. And when he said on NXT, I haven't made my mind up where I'm going, I genuinely believed him. But I don't think it was he's going to AEW. I genuinely believe him that he's taking time away. And, you know, there's no point making a decision now because we know how quick the wrestling world moves. In about 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, where are we then? And I think that it makes sense for him to make that call closer to the time where he's going to come back. So I think now that Vince has gone, maybe that is going to be something that sways it for Johnny Gargano, because I think the biggest barrier was going to be he'd be away from the family. But I think Steph, you know, could try and find a way of accommodating that, giving him some time so that he can be with the family and maybe work a certain schedule, because he is such a talent. He is such a talent. You have to be very careful to not bend over backwards for people, because you can't bend over backwards for everybody. But I do think that when it comes to Johnny, who has given NXT some of its biggest moments and has got such fan support, he is kind of the closest thing they've got to Daniel Bryan. I think that it would make sense for them to try and accommodate him. And I think if they were to do that and, ensure that he could still see his family, and the added benefit of Vince isn't around, so, you know, the smaller guys are going to get real opportunity now. I think that that's going to be a big factor in, Johnny going back to WWE. So, yeah, I agree. I agree with that. I agree with Bray. Braun, I don't know, to be honest. I don't know with Braun. The reason I say that is because if I'm Steph, I'm looking at, like, did Braun really move the dial? Did Braun really connect with the fans? I would say he's much better. I mean, you can see what a bad giant is like now when you look at Amos and you look at Commander Aziz and all of those, you know, Amos in particular. You can see what a giant that's just not got it, just green, just doesn't have what it takes. You can see what one of those looks like now. And Braun was not that. Braun was not that. Braun was someone that really was a monster amongst men and played that role very well. But I do have to come back to the fact of, did he move the dial? Did he really connect with people? Were people going to be tuning in because Braun was on the show? I feel like when 2017 was it, when he was flipping over ambulances? I feel like that was a good time for him. I feel like at that point he was probably moving a dial. But really, I don't know. Braun, I'm a bit torn on. I feel like if the money was right and they could do a deal, I could see him coming back, but I don't know that that's one they're going to race to do. Bray is a no-brainer, isn't it? You think about the Fiend and how much people love the Fiend. Bray is a no-brainer. I think you only have to look at the fact he just continually trends. So that's a no-brainer. I also think that Sasha, Naomi, getting them back, you know, you just say to them, look, sit down and meet me. That's all I'm asking for. Come to the head offices, sit down and meet me. We'll talk about the future. If you don't like it, you can get up, walk out. We'll give you your release, blah, 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 blah. And then, like, you know, bring them into the offices, sit down. I think what WWE needs to do is apologize, because as much as I think Sasha and Naomi were unprofessional, and I still do, nothing's changed on that. I will still sit here and tell you they were unprofessional to walk out, because they were, right? But I have never said that WWE were not, like, you know, in the wrong as well, because they, from what we've heard, were, you know, they wanted to get the script changed. There was lots of pressure. There was, you know, things that got said to them. And clearly, if you don't like the script and you want to change the script, the process for getting that changed is not correct, because you get the script too late. You, when you want to change it, have to go through, like, you know, all these channels. Then Vince says that, yes, you know, we'll look to do that. And apparently it didn't change. So, you know, they had to go back to him a second time. So not only did they go to him once, they had to go to him a second time, because the changes they thought they'd got done the first time never got done. So they had to go back. And that's when they got told they were spoiled and all this kind of stuff. Now, clearly that process is not right. And clearly that needs to be reformed, overhauled, and needs to be improved. And actually, you know, shows being rewritten whilst the show is on air is what we've heard about. That's not acceptable. If you're a WWE talent, you need to know what you're doing well in advance so you can really prepare for it. I mean, look, it's part of the job. You have to act on your feet. But that process can be made much better. And I think that if I was Steph, I would bring them in. I would say, you know, look, I'm going to apologize for that. We are going to look at those processes. And I give you my word, going forward, that will be different. And we want to, like, bring you back, basically. And we want to move forward and, you know, just get a gauge, basically, of seeing where we are. And that's the conversation I would be having. Whether there's too much damage done, I don't know. I mean, look, if they go, they go. It's not the end of the world. But I think there's a way forward now with Sasha and Naomi, because I would have thought them coming back and Vince being around, I think that would have been a barrier. I think that would have been a problem. I think that, you know, there's probably some bad feeling towards Vince by Sasha and Naomi. And then not only that, they've now seen all these allegations come out, so... Jake Campbell, shout out to you, said, I've got a big feeling that Bray will return. I wouldn't get too excited about it being SummerSlam or anything. I mean, I don't think that he's a part of those vignettes. So I'm not expecting him to be a part of that. I know that he's tweeted out some cryptic stuff, but I mean, listen, if you are someone that's trending, you only have to put anything out that's cryptic and, you know, I mean, you'll just blow up again. I mean, he's just gone and, you know, looked at the situation, put out a couple of tweets and, you know, it's all exploded again. So I think that he's just kind of playing into it at the moment. That's my gut feeling. And I don't blame him for that. He's just stoking the fires. But beyond SummerSlam, I think that I agree there is a way forwards. Oh, so much to talk about, man. I feel like we should have started the stream much earlier, but Maxxine has to be Ginny as Gunther's on SmackDown, and they're together. It fits her gimmick. Plus, she's not been on NXT UK for a while, says Cal W. Yeah, I mean that's. God, I sent a tweet out not long ago saying, what this news has done is completely destroyed San Diego Comic-Con. Like, no one is going to care about San Diego Comic-Con now, and rightfully so. So I have no idea if any new figures were shown today. No idea at all. I don't even know. They might have just cancelled the event, to be honest. I know that as of a few hours ago, there wasn't anything. We obviously did 300 slides yesterday. 300 slides. There's AEW minifigures. No, actually, I'm just having a look on Wrestling Fig News, and it doesn't look like they have shown anything today. So, do you know what? Maybe Mattel got it absolutely right by just loading everything into yesterday and then, not putting anything out today. Or maybe they saw the news or heard the news was coming and thought to themselves, well, we won't show anything new today because this Vince news is going to dominate everything. So we won't show anything. So maybe there'll be a few things tomorrow or Sunday. But no, seemingly nothing new today. Sam said, it's my birthday on the 23rd of July in the UK. Happy birthday. It is the 23rd right now. So happy birthday to you. Hope you are having a better day than Vince McMahon. Although saying that, I mean, Vince ain't having the worst of days. He's a flipping, billionaire that has just retired and has got all the time in the world. So, yeah, he's... Although it's pretty bad for him. He clearly doesn't want to retire. Delwyn said, tonight has been the craziest day as a wrestling fan. I will respect Vince's decision, and he will always have given us some of the most memorable moments of our childhood. Thank you, Vince. Yeah, I mean, it's just difficult, isn't it? It's just difficult because I want to second that, but you just don't know. You don't know what's coming. I mean, I could sit here and... It's a little bit like when they did that show for Chris Benoit after, him and his family had been killed and the details hadn't emerged. They did a kind of tribute show to him. And then obviously, I think whilst that show was on air, the details were starting to come through that he'd actually had something to do with it, or it looked like he had something to do with it. So it's kind of like... I don't want to fall into that trap. I don't want to fall into that trap of sitting here and saying loads of really great stuff about Vince and then boom, tomorrow we'll get hit with something horrific. So, I don't know. I don't know what's coming, but I agree. I understand. I want to sit here and say the same, yeah. I want to sit here and say the same. He's the most important person in the history of wrestling. I mean, the impact he's had has just been absolute. Since the early 1980s, he has completely changed the landscape. And do you know what? I think if you look at where wrestling was in the 70s compared to where it was in the 80s, with, you had the territories in the 70s. Territories were gone by the 80s. You had WWE kind of struggling to kind of really find its way. You just come out of the Bruno era. And then they tried Pedro Morales. That worked, but not as great. They had to go back to Bruno, which obviously worked well, but I don't know that his second run was kind of the same levels as his first. They were really looking for that next star. They tried superstar Billy Graham. They thought they'd found it in Bob Backlund. They felt like the 60s was very stable. The 70s was them trying to really find that next big star. And then the 80s, boom, Hulk Hogan. I mean, Hulkamania. I mean, there's no doubt as to who the big star is for WWE then. So if you actually look at the difference between the 70s and the 80s, I wonder if we're about to go through a change like that now. I wonder if we'll look at this being the end of the Vince era and now what's to come kind of, down the road will be as drastic a change. It will take time. It will take time because, as I said, I think you've still got people in there like Kevin Dunn, who is the person that shoots the shows and decides how they look. He has done that since, I don't know, the early 90s, late 80s. He is not about to change the feel of how he presents the show. He is the guy that's in the truck that decides how SmackDown looks and how Raw looks and what, when they play the video packages, how many video packages. He is the person that really helps put what you see on TV together. He is a massive part, a massive wheel in the cog, a cog in the machine that is WWE. He is not going to now just completely change what he does because Vince has gone. So this is what I'm saying. If you're expecting WWE to be different now, I don't think it will. There's too many people that are in positions of power that have been doing what they've been doing for a long time. And don't forget, everything Steph knows, she learnt from Vince as well. She'll have her own ideas, but I don't know how far they're going to fall away from what Vince was doing anyway. But little things, like, could we see Bray come back? Yes. Could we see Sasha and Naomi come back? Yes. Could we see the smaller guys getting more of an opportunity? Yes. You know, are we going to see less rematches now? Maybe. Those kind of things I can see changing. But if you're expecting, like, new shows, whole different feel, like, you know, new superstars, I don't know. If you're expecting, like, this massive... I don't see that happening. I think that anything going forward will be part of a gradual process. And as we've said as well, and I do have to keep coming back to it, if Vince is kind of cleared of these allegations, if you will, if it turns out that the money wasn't paid out of business accounts, and it turns out that Vince explains as to, you know, any affairs he had were consensual, any allegations are false, there's nothing that comes out of it, like, it all, I don't want to say just goes away, because it's never going to go away, but, there's nothing there that you can, like, pin him down on. I could see Vince coming back and doing stuff within the company, because he's not going to go off now and start fishing. That's not Vince McMahon. He's not going to go off now and start doing other things. That's just not Vince McMahon. So I think that he is going to be lost for a while. I don't think he's going to know what to do, to be honest. This break could be the first significant break that he's going to have since he took over the company in the early 80s. What it would do for him to just have took that step back anyway. I mean, even the Vince that comes back might have, like, you know, slightly different thoughts if he does come back. I'm just really struggling to see him being gone forever. And as I said, I'm not alone. Fightful are reporting that Talent are saying the exact same thing. Talent are saying the same thing. So I'm not alone in that. Are you streaming Smackdown? We're going to be here for it. Yeah, we'll report everything that's going to happen. Obviously, we're on the verge of Stephanie McMahon opening the show. So Stephanie McMahon is going to be coming out and saying something. What we're expecting her to say is we are expecting her to thank her father for all of his work, tell him to enjoy his retirement. That's what I'm expecting. And then talk about a new beginning, a bright new future. New opportunities and things along those lines. That's what I would be expecting. I'm certainly not expecting her to sing the praises of Vince for very long. I think she could say a few things, but largely it'll be, you know, wishing him all the best on his retirement. I think it's very interesting that Vince is not on the show saying it. I think it's very interesting that Vince is not saying goodbye tonight, and that it's Steph that's opening the show. I think that's very, very interesting. And it does make me wonder if there is, like, you know, other things that are about to come out. So Stephanie McMahon opens the show. We're going to see what she's got to say. Angel Torres said, hot take, everyone will miss Vince. If the Khan guy steps up, he'll sabotage the company for his family. I think on this historic night, it is a historic night. Listen, there's going to be stuff that I think is going to go well, and there's going to be stuff that's not going to go well, and I think it's going to be very interesting to look back on this time. Mitchell said, time for a new era. That means we get some hype, then some pyro, then a new stage, then nothing will change. Right, here we go. We've got Steph. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Friday Night Smackdown. So Steph is opening the show. Smile on her face, in the ring already. Earlier tonight, my father, Vince McMahon, she's really struggling to keep this together. There's booze. This is the company that he created. She's breaking up a bit here, you know. He thanked all of you. There's a thank you, Vince chant. Thank you, Vince chant. So she's thanking the WWE Universe. Everyone that designs the graphics, everyone that hangs the rigging, it's all of our crew. This is the WWE Universe. This is the moment we take to thank him. So she wants the crowd to thank Vince. They'd already started doing it, so I think that she says, I love you, Dad. She says, I love you, Dad. There's a thank you, Vince sign. God, I mean, we go from that. It's a bit of a letdown to go from that straight into the Street Profits. Yeah, interesting. To be honest, not quite the speech that I was expecting. Not quite the way that I thought that was going to go. Street Profits are in the crowds, making their way down. So she says tonight is an opportunity to thank Vince. I don't think we're going to get much thanking of Vince tonight. I think that was probably it. I think she just wanted to start. a thank you Vince chant, to be honest. But she looked down the camera and said, I love you, Dad. So Street Profits making their way down to the ring. We've just had a massive open to SmackDown. Stephanie McMahon has come out and opened the show. She has, of course, spoke about her father who retired, announced his retirement earlier today. She was very emotional. She didn't actually cry, but she was on the verge. She said at one point, I'm trying to keep this together. The crowd were chanting, thank you, Vince. So they were chanting that already. She came out and said, you know, this is our opportunity to say thank you to him. And so she then started another thank you, Vince chant. The crowd did respond. What I will say is that that chant was not as loud as chants that we have heard in the past. I think if you'd have said that Vince was retiring just a couple of years ago, before the pandemic, of course, when we had crowds, I think I would have expected a loud, you know, one of those chants that just does not stop. We've seen them before where they go on for like 5 minutes or so. And I kind of felt that the audience, they did chant it, but I mean, it wasn't very long. It wasn't very long. I sense there's definitely some doubt within the WWE universe. Obviously, these allegations against Vince are very, very serious, but a very interesting opening segment. She was talking about how he had thanked the WWE Universe. That was people that make the graphics. It's people that hang the rigging. And obviously it's all the fans as well. And that's when she said it's time for us to thank him. So that was it, really. Nothing about new beginnings or anything along those lines. I was expecting something like that. But I think she's just come out to mention that Vince has retired. Get a bit of a thank you chant, and then ended it by looking down the camera and saying, I love you, Dad. And that was it. And then the Street Profits music hit, which was quite the come down. So SmackDown still going as we speak, but a big, big opening to this week's show. Jimmy Hart is going to come to my city. I'm going to try and meet him. Jimmy Hart's a legend. Jimmy Hart. It would be longer if she hadn't have stopped them. Yeah, I mean, it's not. I can't sit here and say that is a passionate, You know, sometimes, I mean, do you remember the night after Roman beat The Undertaker and you could not shut that crowd up? I mean, there's times, what about when Daniel Bryan with the whole yes chants? In my mind, there is nothing bigger than Vince McMahon retiring. The fact that that was not out of control. I mean, I think it's noteworthy because they did chant it. So you can't say they weren't chanting it. They chanted it. But equally, I think considering that is probably the biggest thing that can happen in WWE, Vince McMahon retiring, that crowd have quite quickly moved on. Street Profits, and in all fairness, WWE have quickly moved on. WWE have not allowed that moment to linger very long, which again is very, very interesting. So we've got Theory coming down. Now we've got the Usos coming out. We've got a big hot mess of an open here. I hope that after the recent news, WWE does the responsible thing and makes Titus come out and tell us about his job, Darcy. Legend. That's my comment of the night. Well done, buds. Straight away, that's comment of the night. You're absolutely right. We need flipping Titus O'Neil out there. If things go a little bit sour, we need him to come out and just fall over. And then we can all laugh. They should have done that anyway. None of us would have remembered about these allegations if Titus had just come out and fallen over. Right, we've got Usos in the ring, Theory in the ring. The only thing funny to me is that you and your wife are going to walk out of SummerSlam with no titles. Austin Theory laying into Montez Ford's. Congratulations on 2 years. Cal, I'll get to your comment in a sec, buds. So we got a little bit of a brawl here. Usos launching themselves at the Street Profits. Austin Theory kind of in the middle. He goes after Street Profits. Got to think Dolph Ziggler coming out now. Got to think Dolph Ziggler coming out. Is it Dolph Ziggler? No, it's Madcap. Madcap making his way. Madcap running down to the ring. Austin Theory is the future. Yeah, I mean, he was the future. He was the future anyway. But I did put a little cheeky tweet out just saying, like, I wonder what this means for him. Because obviously Vince had his back. And if I'm Austin Theory, the last thing I want to see is Vince McMahon leaving. She's not announced as the new CEO, and doesn't answer what's on people's minds. Something smells fishy, says Cal W. Well, interesting that she wasn't announced as the CEO. I mean, she is the CEO. She is the interim CEO, and she is the new co-CEO. They're saying that this isn't storyline to Fightful. So, I don't know. I don't know that I can go down the roads of saying that this is storyline or anything like that. So, right, we've just got Madcap making his way down. We've just had a weird, like, little opening segment. I think, to be honest, they probably just wanted to move on to something. They can't take a star's TV time for something they celebrate for a long time. I don't know what that means. Let's go into this then. So Steph opens the show, and then we get a Street Profits and Usos segment. I don't think it's storyline. I think he'll be back and has retired as a red herring. I agree. I agree. I think there's every chance that he could return. I agree with you. I do think, though, it's going to depend on how this goes. Here's Nakamura. How the allegations go. What's the main event? No idea, but I mean, Brock Lesnar was meant to be all over this show, and we know that Brock Lesnar is not there, so Shinsuke is making his way down. So Shinsuke is back, so Steph opens the show, then we get Street Profits. Theory. And Madcap Moss. So that was the next segment. Now we've got Shinsuke taking on Ludwig Kaiser. Wrestler with Andy said, let's get to the real conversation. Who is Maxxine Dupree? Great question, bud. Great question. I am thinking that Ginny does stand a good chance, but it could be Zelina Vega. I think she would be an excellent choice as well. So few people that it could be. Sean Rossap said there's a backup, but WWE for Brock, but WWE will try to get Brock. Makes sense. Maxxine Dupree, it will be Volta Gunther's girlfriend, Ginny, says Corvids. Hello, Legend Killer. Hope you are well, buddy. Hope you are well. So, if you are just joining us, we've obviously had some massive news, and we are still trying to take it on board. It's what does it mean? I know that's going to be a big question. You know, could it result in the Fiend coming back? All of that kind of stuff will be asked, and it's perfectly acceptable things to ask. I do think that this does improve the chances of the Fiend returning. I said that earlier, and I do think it improves the chances of Sasha and Naomi returning as well. So it could mean some very interesting stuff. We also spoke about the fact that it could be great for those smaller guys that compete as well. So lots to talk about. Sean Rossap is reporting that Brock is not featured on the latest SmackDown scripts. Looks like he's walked, done one, completely gone. And that's that. So, yes, that's very interesting. What's the point of bringing Fiend versus Reigns? Reigns would smash him, says Luca. You made the comment that Vince didn't get a lot of time. They said it, then moved on. My point is they still have a 2-hour show. They can't take away another star's TV time. Well, I mean, I would disagree. I think everything they're doing right now is very, very interesting and very noteworthy. I think the fact that Vince McMahon, if I told you not even a few years ago, a few months ago, that Vince McMahon was going to retire, and alls that would happen is there would be a 5-minute little speech from Steph, where, you know, they allow the crowd to say thank you, Vince, and then very quickly move on. I feel like, you know, that would be surprising news. Now, obviously, there's reasons for it, but I think the idea that they haven't just ripped the whole show apart and the whole thing's not just dedicated to Vince, I think shows and is very significant about where he is standing with these allegations at the moment. Because a few months back, if you said to me Vince is going to retire soon, I'd be like, wow, God, I can't wait to see what they're going to do. I mean, they're going to throw the whole shows over to him. We'll get video packages. We'll get look back on his life. They'll have clips coming up of him where, you know, he talks from, you know, his days where he was an interviewer in the 70s and commentator, and through the 80s, welcome to WrestleMania, and all that kind of stuff. Like, they would have thrown the whole show over. I mean, we've had shows dedicated to people when they've, like, obviously passed away. Vince walking away is, I don't want to say as significant as someone losing their life, but it is one of the biggest things that can happen. And I think the fact that it's a 5-minute speech, they don't allow the fans to chant very long. And as I said, the fans don't make as much noise as I would have expected either. I think all of this is very, very, very noteworthy. Very noteworthy because it implies that they want to acknowledge him, but they are also aware of the severity of the allegations. And they also want to make sure that they are not kind of focusing on it. It's really weird. It's really weird. I mean, we are watching history. This is history. Even if he comes back, this is still history. You can't tell the story of Vince McMahon without talking about this moment in time. Even if he does kind of come back in some form or fashion in the future, the story of Vince includes tonight. So, yeah, it's really interesting. It's really interesting. Vince McMahon retires, you give him the whole show, but they haven't done it. Vape Ross Vape said, Vince not on the show, co-CEO, they have something. Vince not on the show, co-CEO, they have something. I don't know what that means. You're saying that there's some news out there that's about to break or something. I feel like there's... I said it straight at the... Anna said it at the start. I completely agreed with that. I've got the feeling there's something out there. I feel there's something coming as well. Why has it happened now? Why has he walked away now? Why are they not spending longer talking about it? I mean, the fact it was 5 minutes and then the flipping Street Profits come out. Come on. Maybe now they'll push Alexa or change her back to Goddess. Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I don't know how much of a barrier Vince was to that. I know that anything that's not right in WWE is easy to blame on Vince, but the truth of the matter is there's a lot of superstars and there's only so much like TV time. So something like Alexa, who does deserve more TV time, something like her, it might be that creative just don't have anything for her. Of course, Vince could always have turned around and said, I want something for Alexa, and he's clearly not done that. So, yes, there is definitely an argument that he could do more, should do more, and maybe now there will be more. But equally, there might not. Because, you know, you can't say, let's bring back The Fiend, let's bring back Sasha, let's give something more to Alexa, let's give something more to the smaller guys, let's make sure Roman's booked strong, let's make sure, you know, Braun comes back, Johnny Gargano. Like, there's 5 hours. Like, you can't fit everything in. People are going to be disappointed, so yes. My answer is yes. Maybe this is going to be positive for Alexa, and I definitely think she deserves more than she's getting at the moment. But equally, just be aware that this might not solve everything that's wrong with WWE. Because the problems in WWE, I assure you, are bigger than just one man. Joaquin said, Volta has got a 6-pack for nothing. Well, he's gone for the pin there, old Ludwig Kaiser. And no joy. So we are underway with this match, 20 minutes into the show. And we've got Gunther on the outside. Crowd are a bit quiet. I can definitely understand... I can understand why the crowd are a bit quiet. I mean, it's very hard to focus on the show tonight. Very, very difficult to focus on the show when you've got, obviously, things happening that are kind of a big, big distraction. We've got Nakamura in the corner with... Nakamura in the corner. Knee coming in there to Ludwig Kaiser. Knee into Ludwig. Boom, gets dragged down. So at the moment we've got Gunther shouting at Ludwig Kaiser as he hurls him into the ring steps. Stairs aim at the moment as we go to commercial break. So... we've gone into commercial break. Lots to talk about, of course. Lots going on. Let me just create this folder. I need a folder for our post-show. I need somewhere to store pictures that we'll need, because we will, as soon as we're done with the stream, we will go into our post-show. Obviously, I'm going to try and focus on what's happening on the show, but, I mean, there's so much to talk about. And obviously information that's coming through all the time as well, so we'll try and include as much as possible. But I don't want that post-show being, like, super long. But hey-ho. Right. Where is the chat? Let's get to the chat. Boom. Boom. Luke said, you're right, but you take away the king, the loyalists will jump ship or be pushed out by the next leader. Take away the king, the loyalists will jump ship. Well, I mean, look, there's big reports that Kevin Dunn could be done. Kevin Dunn could be out. And, Bruce Pritchard as well. Yeah, Bruce Pritchard, Kevin Dunn. Those, I mean, John Laurinaitis has already gone. So, yes, I think those that are loyal to Vince, if they, you know, their safety blanket now, if you will, has definitely gone. Definitely gone. RCH said, I hate how they are... Oh, it just jumped. Hate how they are saying... Hate how they are... It moved, mate. I couldn't read it. Angel Torres said, everyone owes Vince gratitude because wrestling is not where it is today without him. This is the end, old friend. Thank you for everything. Darcy said, now that he's available, I think the obvious outcome is to have Vince become all elite after his 90-day non-compete. That's good, dude. You should tweet that out. Do that. I'm sure people have probably done it, but do that all elite graphic with Vince standing there. Do you think he knew at Mania and that's why he had a match? Funny you should say that, actually, because apparently it was known that this was all coming back in March. So, yes, I think he probably did know at Mania, and that's probably why he did want to get involved in something. So, yes, I think that's a really interesting thought. Really interesting thought. Brock is unprofessional, or is it just Sasha and Naomi, says Esteban. No, Brock's unprofessional. He's walked out. He was booked for this show. He was meant to be on the show. And he's absolutely unprofessional for walking out. I mean, to be honest, I don't even know if he's got the full story of what's going on. I mean, like, he's heard that Vince has retired, and he knows that he's been pushed. And so he's trying to be, like, loyal to Vince by the sound of it. You know, if he goes, I go type situation. Like, I don't want to be a part of a WWE that doesn't have Vince McMahon in charge. Now, you know, that's not his role. His reasonings might be, you know, maybe, I don't know. It's difficult, isn't it? Because Sasha and Naomi weren't happy with their creative. Well, you know, boo-hoo. Because there's a lot of wrestlers that aren't happy with their creative. And guess what? They don't walk out. Brock Lesnar is unprofessional. Let's not get any messages mixed up. He is unprofessional. I've said it. I'll say it again. He's unprofessional. Like, you are booked for the show. You appear on the show. Right? But he hasn't walked out due to creative. He's walked out because of Vince going and being forced out. So Brock is doing it out of loyalty to Vince, really. I've got a little bit of admiration for that. Little bit. I respect that loyalty. But no, he's unprofessional. I'm quite happy to say it. I'd say it to his face as well. I'd say it to Sasha's face, and I would say it to Brock's face. Unprofessional. It's not double standards. I said when Sasha walked out that if Gunther was to walk out over creative, I'd say the same thing. If Sasha had walked out today because Vince had been fired, my response would be, that's unprofessional, but a little bit of me respects it. A little bit of me because of the loyalty. I don't care. This is what people get, like, twisted. I don't care who you are. I look at the situation, and I call the situation as I see it. I think there's a lot of Sasha stands out there that think you have a pop at Sasha because it's Sasha. No, grow up, right? If anyone walked out over creative, I would say the same thing. So it's, There's no mixed messages here whatsoever. Gunther hits Nakamura. We might be about to get 1, 2, 3. Ludwig beats. Nakamura thanks to outside interference. So outside interference by Gunther. So, yeah, it's outside interference here by Gunther. Bang. I dislike Sasha and her fans. I don't like this. I don't dislike Sasha. I'm very clear on how I feel about what happened, but I don't dislike her. I don't think she should lose her job. I would like to see her come back. He's shouting at him. Is he shouting at him because he didn't win clean or something? Now, is he going to chop him? Like, he's going to have to... He's standing there. You can tell he really doesn't want this to happen. He's tensing. He tells him to stand to attention. Taps him on the shoulder. Taps him on the shoulder. Is he going to do it anyway? Oh, he does it anyway. He does it anyway. Good. He deserved it. He deserved that. You deserve it. He didn't win the match clean, did he? Backstage with Liv and Ronda. Liv and Ronda. They're on a collision course at SummerSlam. Is Brock Lesnar out of the company for good? I don't know that he's out for good. I mean, he has walked away. He's such a big star, they will want to get him back. Couldn't Vince be hired by Steph or Triple H for a small role? Well, listen, we don't know what's about to come, bud. We don't know what's on the way, and to be honest, I think they want to kind of distance themselves from all the noise that's happening at the moment. So it's probably not in the best interest to be giving him a small role or any role right now. Get out the way whilst it's very hot in the kitchen. See what happens. If it all goes away and it settles down, then yes, he's a workaholic and I can see him coming back. If it's not going to go away, then maybe it's best he goes away. Angel said Brock gets to do Brock things. Stop complaining. Well, I mean, if Brock walking out when he's booked to be on a show is a Brock thing, then that's not a thing that company needs. You know, you've advertised him. You've got people looking forward to seeing him. He's advertised for SummerSlam. You've sold tickets on him actually being there, and then he doesn't show. Like, it's unprofessional. So, like, I think saying Brock will do whatever Brock wants to do, just accept it. I can't go with that. I can't go with that. And I would say the same if it was Gunther, if it was Asuka, if it was John Cena, if it was Bruno Sammartino. I'd say the same if it was anyone. I think if you are booked for a show, you owe it to the fans to be on that show. And that was my criticism of Sasha and Naomi. They were booked to be on that show. And people had bought tickets and there was going to be their fans in the crowd. You can't tell me there was no kids in there or no fans in there that were there to see Sasha Banks, one of the biggest stars they've got. I mean, all right, did anyone buy a ticket for Naomi? I don't know, right? I can't go as far as to say, you know, there was someone in the crowd for Naomi. People like Naomi, but did they buy the ticket for Naomi? I don't know. But I reckon someone like Sasha, with the fan base that she's got, definitely people bought tickets for that. And people would have got tickets. Would they have got tickets for Brock? Because you never quite know when you're going to see him. That's the only thing. Would they have bought tickets for Brock? It's irrelevant. They'd have bought tickets for SummerSlam for Brock. If Brock's now not at SummerSlam, I mean, doesn't matter. He's unprofessional. He walked out. It's done, isn't it? It's done. Don't care who you are. You're advertised on the show and you're not on the show. I would like to see Brock in New Japan. Imagine Brock in New Japan. He would be involved with AEW. Nah, they ain't going to do that. He ain't doing it for the love of the game, is he? He's doing it for the dollar. Yeah, I wouldn't get too excited about that. First of all, I don't know they've got that kind of money. And second of all, Brock, I mean, it would need to be extra special money to get him to go to Japan. SummerSlam won't see out without Brock. Might change venue again, says Shola. I think Brock will be there, to be honest. I think he's reacted. I think he's heard the news. I think he's reacted. I think that he is gonna. Look, Vince is gonna want WWE to succeed. He's still the major shareholder. Vince won't be like, good, they forced me out and now Brock's left good. He won't be like that. Vince will be like, you need to be at SummerSlam, because he's still the majority shareholder. His wealth is very much connected to the success of WWE, and he knows that he needs Brock to be at SummerSlam. So there will be a phone call. I'm sure of that. What it might mean, though, is Brock might not. I could see Brock doing the SummerSlam date. I think he will do SummerSlam. I think once he accepts this, and Vince speaks to him, and it settles down, I think Vince will get him, yeah? But beyond SummerSlam, I don't know, I don't know. I think that Brock and Vince had got quite a special relationship. I don't know that anyone else has got that relationship with Brock. And Brock might be just thinking, I mean, money talks, but Brock might just be thinking, do you know what? I don't need to do this anymore. I don't need to do it anymore. Right, Six Man has been made with that big brawl earlier tonight. Who else is on Roman's level in a last standing match? Who else is on Roman's level? I mean, no one, to be honest. The amount of investment that he has had put in him, there's no one that's on his level. I think they were trying to get somewhere with Cody, and that obviously has been massively derailed. So Cody could potentially get, a bright spotlight on him, but there's no one that's being booked like Roman. Angel said, top G's get top star treatment. Brock is huge. He's up there with Cena and Hogan and Rock and Austin and Taker. There's no room for B-listers like Sasha and Naomi.
Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Days.
Controversial. Angel Torres, you've jumped in with some hot takes this evening.
I am not. Is that wet? Is that? Oh!
Okay, we've got Liv Morgan backstage. Liv Morgan, she's got some gloves on. She's changed. The high life's getting to her. She's changed. So we've got Liv Morgan and we've got Ronda Rousey. How will your rematch with Liv be different? Here we go. We've got them face to face. I respect you. You've been a breath of fresh air, but I am going to beat you at SummerSlam. When I beat you at SummerSlam, I expect you to shake my hand. I can't tell you I'm better than you. But I can look in your soul.
Yes!
I love this more than you. I want this more than you. When I beat you again. You've got more passion than anyone else. Except me. And Ronda walks away. Whoo, that was pretty good, man. That was pretty good. I tell you what, very focused from Liv there. Very focused. It was backstage. I actually think Liv gets quite nervous. I think that she is someone that definitely struggles with nerves, and I think that affects her promos. I think backstage there, she's just done a really good job. Corbin is attacking Pat right now. This should be a Vince tribute show. Vince quitting. He said blank them last week. This is not retirement. There is a vid or interview coming. Linda, maybe. There is a vid or interview coming. Linda, maybe. What do you mean? So, what do you mean? Like something to do with Linda? I think that's... I think there could be something else that's coming, yes. I agree with you. Liv cannot possibly beat Ronda again, can she? Not clean. Not clean. She can't beat her clean. And she shouldn't beat her clean. I actually think that she would lose credibility as champion if they went that way, personally. It's not the direction that I would go. I wouldn't go with her winning clean. I think that you can absolutely have Liv... I think the best way to book that match is to have Liv Morgan come out and put on a hell of a show. I think she comes out and has a great match. I think she shows passion. She digs deep. I think she's in some bad situations. I think she's on the verge of losing a few times, but hangs on. I think that she even gets a bit of offense in. I think that it is a war. I think that Ronda throws everything at her. She's chucking Liv around and Liv just keeps getting back up. I think that is going to be key. Ronda should be absolutely battering Liv at times, and she to this passion. If that is her strength is not necessarily her wrestling ability. It's not her finishing ability, her submissions, or anything like that. Her strength is knock me down, I will get back up. Very Fiend-esque. You know how the Fiend, like, constantly was getting beaten, but would get back up, you know, taught himself not to feel pain type thing. Like, Liv Morgan needs to do that, but I cannot go as far as to say that I would support Liv beating Ronda clean, because I just don't feel that that is logical. I don't feel that it's believable. You do get upsets in sport. I mean, we saw Juliana Pena beating Nunes. You know, I mean, we've seen Leicester winning the Premier League. Like, there's definitely upsets that happen in sport. This would be a massive upset, Liv winning clean. A massive upset. And one that I would really, really, really struggle to buy. So I think how I would book it is I would have her constantly digging deep. Fans would be right there with her. She would be surviving, hanging on. And then I think I would have Shayna Baszler or someone interfere. Liv can get the win. It's not a clean win. And Liv can go on to say that, you know, she is frustrated because she was in there. She was battling. She was in the fight of her life. She felt that she could have got the win, and that opportunity to get that win was taken away from her. So Liv could actually be quite upset with the way the match goes. But more importantly, she survives, and she gets through, and she gets past Ronda Rousey. It doesn't make Ronda look weak. It all feels very credible. It keeps the title on Liv. It starts a new feud for Ronda. Tick, 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 tick. It does a lot of ticks. There's plenty of people that Liv Morgan can beat. Plenty of people. Carmella, Zelina Vega, Aaliyah, Natalia. You know, go down the flipping list, yeah? But when it comes to your Beckys, your Rondas, your Charlottes, that's where I've got questions. And for me personally, I could support her beating Becky. I could support her beating Bayley. I could even support her potentially beating Charlotte, but probably not. I can't support her beating Ronda. Yes! I can't get behind that. We're talking about a UFC Hall of Famer. I mean, there's levels. And I know there's big Liv fans out there. And I want her to keep the title. I'm not even saying put the belt back on Ronda. I'm not saying that. I'm saying keep the belt on Liv. Keep the title reign going. but do it in a credible way. Do it in a way that you can buy into, you can believe in it, you can believe in her, she can show her passion, you know, she shows she's a fighter, blah, 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 blah. Her winning that way doesn't make her look weak, because you would have already shown that she's survived. I mean, the match can be 20 minutes, you know. Ronda wasn't able to beat her. That can always be the comeback. As much as Liv didn't win clean, Ronda didn't win the match. She had 20 minutes and she couldn't get it done. You know, this is a woman that's beaten people with arm bars in like 30-odd seconds. So, I am, now that she's got the belt, I'm on board with her keeping it. But I really am a big flag waver of do it the right way. Let's go down. Let's see. Angel says Ronda needs to act like Brock. Steel moves and all. I mean, like, she is... It's very hard for her because she doesn't have, like, the physical size of Brock. I mean, no woman does, but, I mean, even in respect of if she was that much bigger than the women than Brock is over the guys. If you look at Brock compared to the average wrestler, he is, like, double, triple the size of them. Ronda is not double, triple the size of the other women. So she doesn't necessarily have that kind of imposing presence, if you will, and that's a bit of a problem. That's a bit of a problem. But she does have legitimacy. She is legit. Lee, shout out to you. I'm okay with Liv beating Ronda with a clean pin if Ronda is injured. Like if Charlotte attacks, says Trini. Vince could be a guest commentator for the Royal Rumble, Mania, and Survivor Series. It depends how the allegations go, mate. It depends how the allegations go. I'm okay with... Oh, we read that. Do you think Vince's retirement will affect The Rock coming back? That's a good question. I think it's going to affect everything, but I think The Rock will... I think The Rock is passionate for the WWE universe, so I think The Rock would still return even without Vince in charge. But it's a very good point. You are absolutely right to be questioning everything right now. And, you know, where does Brock stand in the company? What's it going to mean for the smaller guys? All of that kind of stuff. It's right to question all of that. I'm excited that Vince has gone. Change probably won't happen immediately, but I really hope that some of the smaller guys do get a chance to shine and get an opportunity. Might even see guys return. Yes. Edward said, I need to go. Confirmed it's going to be Goldberg against Roman by Wrestle Talk. Okay. Well, I mean, Wrestle Talk will have got that news from a PW Insider or somewhere. So I don't know that you can say confirmed by Wrestle Talk. No shade on Wrestle Talk, but they're not a source. They just report. So that will have come from, you know, that news might have come from the PW Insider news that Hazard told us about earlier. My understanding is that that's just speculation. I don't know that that's definitely changed. I think that I still feel there's a good chance Brock. I still feel there's a good chance that it'll be Brock. Unless he's absolutely walked out, told them all to F off, go to hell, don't call me, I'm not interested, blah, 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 blah. Even then, you'd want to see what he says once he calms down. Do you know what I mean? Like, if I'm in charge of WWE, if I'm Steph, I'm going to listen to that. But, you know, I'm going to think, well, let's see what he's like tomorrow. Let's give him a call tomorrow type situation. New Day are out. We've got Xavier in a unicorn mask, and we've got Kofi. Why is he wearing a unicorn mask? Mitchell said, why is AJ in the SummerSlam promo when he's got no announced match? And in fact, he doesn't, is a shame. Is he going to be Logan's partner? I wouldn't pay much attention to, like, promos too much. I kind of feel like sometimes they can be part of plans. Sometimes they might not be part of plans. Sometimes plans change. Sometimes the people that put promos together might just get footage of key stars. It's like saying, why is such and such on a poster? I mean, we saw Brock on a poster recently. I can't remember what show, but he was on the poster. He wasn't on the show. So sometimes, WWE is so big and the plans change so often that I honestly think the message goes out for video packages and for posters. Literally just go with the big stars. We'll try and put the big stars on. So I never think you can really read too much into those. Right, we've got Viking Raiders making their way down. New Day have jumped onto commentary. We've got Xavier, as we said, in a unicorn mask. We've got Viking Raiders making their way down. Right. Viking Raiders. Dave, surely they dedicate a future show to Vince. You've got to expect a bigger celebration. Not if these allegations are going to be sticking around or even worsening. It's all to do with the severity of these, of course. I mean, I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but whilst these allegations are around and relevant, and not only that, but it's throwing up other stuff. Don't forget the Rita Chatterley stuff has kind of come back to the forefront as well. So whilst all of that has been thrown up, it's too hot. It's too hot. And who knows? I mean, seriously, who knows where we are in a few years' time? I genuinely don't know. The old man is gone, but his booking will still linger. Miss Clown said, New Day need to end already. WWE have said that Triple H is now back in charge of talent relations. That's true. That's true. He is in charge of talent relations. So it is good that he's back in that position. I am a fan of Triple H being as involved as possible. I think we all saw, the impact that he had on NXT. So yeah, I think there's definitely positives with him returning. Mitchell said, I just saw the footage of Paddy mooning everyone. Yeah, Paddy Pimblett at the weigh-in, making his feelings known. Jinder was thrown into the New Day. Did they say the new vicious Viking Raiders? Have they been pronouncing them the new vicious Viking Raiders? So the new vicious Viking Raiders have won this match by count out. How did they? Oh, so they literally just rolled back into the ring. Right, we've got Adam Pearce backstage. Here's Sonya. You've got Lacey Evans walking out of another match. We never saw that, did we? What was she on about? Is that like last week or something? What's she on about? We got Adam Pearce then and Sonya Deville. I don't know what she's on about. Talking about Lacey Evans. Something I did plan for this show is actually going to happen. Well, it's good Summit is. It's good Summit that you planned for the show is going to happen. Because nothing else is flipping going down. Apparently Sonya's got a match. Right, we've got Sheamus, Brawling Brutes. Cruella de Vil. Right, Brawling Brutes. So it's Sonya against Raquel Rodriguez. That's the match that we're getting. I don't know what this match is. Shillelaghs and Shenanigans. Looks like we're just Shillelaghs and Shenanigans. Okay. Shillelaghs and Shenanigans. Oh my god. Okay. So is this a Brawling Brutes promo, is it? Wonderful. Thanks, Brock. Thanks for that, Brock. God, thanks, mate. Thanks, Brock Lesnar. You've given us an amazing gift here. Now we've got to sit through this. Right. If you are watching and you haven't dropped a like, leave a like. It's greatly appreciated. Deal done. Here we go. Vince completes a free retirement to Retirement FC. This is a great day for the world of sports entertainment. Vince only wanted this move, and the deal is now signed. Liv needs a big win from a big name. Having Ronda put her over is a big rub. Bianca needed Sasha Bailey to get her to the next level. Yes, but I think that Bianca beating Bailey is... I feel like they're quite close. And I feel the gap between Liv and Ronda is too wide. I mean, we're talking about Liv, who has been used in the mid-cards and has only really ever had one title opportunity day one. I'm trying to think if she's had another. She might have had another, but I mean, the point is she's not a main eventer. She wins Money in the Bank, cashes it in on a weak Ronda. The whole story is about the fact, even Liv saying she can't stand there and say she's going to beat Ronda. I think WWE are very, very aware that they have got a situation here where they've got someone that's, heavy favorite. The decision now is, do you give Liv a I don't want to say a fluke win, but this massive upset win, or do you go with there being a reason that another reason to explain it? I'm saying that if you go with her beating Ronda, I can't buy it. I can't buy it because I do agree that you need big wins to establish your title reign. But for me, Ronda Rousey is the end boss. Ronda Rousey is the most legitimate woman in that division. If you was to have them all fight, Ronda Rousey would be your champion. I've no doubt about that. Ronda Rousey has trained her whole life in combat. She's a judo Olympian, won a medal at the Olympics, first female to ever win a judo individual female medal for the USA. She then went to Strikeforce, which is a big promotion, and won the women's title there. That then got her into UFC, where they immediately made her champion, and then she went on to retain it several times. It's not even as if she went in and had a match and, won a couple of matches. She won several times, and within the space of 30 seconds sometimes. And not always with armbar. Sometimes she knocked people out as well. I mean, obviously she's gone on to be a massive movie star, all that kind of stuff. I do feel like in recent years her star has certainly fallen, but there is no doubt whatsoever in my mind that she would beat Liv Morgan, or should be beating Liv Morgan. So I completely agree with the point that you need credible wins to make your title reign credible. I don't mind if that comes against Bianca, Becky. I don't mind if she gets them. I just can't buy her and beating Ronda. I just can't buy that. That is a step too far for me. And if it does go that, obviously I'd need to see the match. But if that's the way it goes, I'm really struggling to think how I would buy it if it was clean. I would really struggle to... I'm just being honest. It's not something that I don't want to see it. I just don't want to see it because I don't believe it. You might as well have Liv Morgan fly down to the ring. Do you know what I mean? I just don't want to see things that I can't believe in. But I do agree she needs big wins, and she can get them. I think she would stand a chance against someone like a Bailey, for example. You could bring Bailey back and she could get wins over Bailey. Right, we've got a table in the ring. I don't know what's going to be on the table, but this is Shillelaghs and Shenanigans. Easy for me to say. Shenanigans. We're going to make history tonight, apparently. Since Vince took over WWF in the 70s, fast forward to now, I think WWE needs to change. I think this will be a good change, says Wrestling Wriggle. Eric said, in theory, could Austin Theory hold the US title on Raw and the Universal on SmackDown at the same time? Think about it. I mean, I can't see why he couldn't do that. Okay, so Sheamus says that he wants the sword, Drew's sword, banned from the ring. So he wants the sword banned. Hollywood Guy said, do you think this is temporary? Because Vince is major shareholder. I don't think he fully leaves. In my opinion, I think this is temporary until the heat is off. My answer to it is I completely agree, but it really, really depends how these allegations go, because it is just getting hotter and hotter in the kitchen. It's just getting hotter, and it's too hot. It's way too hot. And until it settles down, and there's no guarantee that it'll ever settle down, but until it settles down, it's too hot. Here's Drew making his way down. Hollywood Guy, I appreciate the support. I agree with your opinion. I don't think he comes back to CEO chairman. I think that decision has been made. But could he come back and work backstage, still pretty much run the show type situation? I could definitely see that happening if these allegations, go, or we move on from them type situation. Drew coming down with the swords. Everyone's main event is going to be backup opponent for Brock at SummerSlam and doing a promo, says Kane. If Brock walked, then who faces Roman? There's reports it could be Goldberg. Those are the latest reports, but I'm not totally sold on them personally. Just because, unless it's a done deal and things have been, signed and he's coming in and all that kind of stuff, I just don't get why you don't call Brock tomorrow. Do you think they will break the world titles up again, or are they going to stick to unified? I think they'll break them up. I've always thought they'll break them up. I think they only put them together so that they could literally make that WrestleMania match as big as possible. Sword is being put away. We've got Drew in the ring with Sheamus. We've still got this table. I think you should just make Seth Riddle the opportunity to face Roman and go from there, says Sports Media. James said, Vince is completely gone for good. Get over it and get used to it. Reddit Monster says, what will happen with Roman and Brock now? Well, we're gonna wait and see. We've got a chance to main event the first UK stadium show in 30 years. And you're going to punk out every single week. The champion is holding the title hostage. So we've got a Drew promo. So he's telling Sheamus to not punk out, basically. I know you've got it in you. They're surely saving this for SummerSlam. I've got to think this close. Don't make excuses. Show me the passion. That's what Drew's saying. Don't make excuses. Show me the passion. I'm not going to lie. What you just said there sent goosebumps up and down my arms. Do you want that fight right now? Is that what you want? Is that what you want? Well, you're going to get it. Just not tonight. Just not tonight. Not tonight. They won't do anything tonight because they'll try and talk to Brock, says, damn it, I hate that Bob Barker. Is Triple T at this show? It's in his neck of the woods. I don't know, to be honest. I only ever really speak to him on streams, so I know as much as you. Let him in, says JD Lawson. That match will take place next week, apparently. And your sword is banned. Shillelaghs. Shillelagh match. So he reveals what's on the table, and it is Shillelaghs. If that's what it takes, then I accept. So, Shillelaghs. I don't know if it... he's called it a couple of things there. He's called it an Irish Donnybrook match or a Shillelagh match. I don't know what it's going by, but... Okay, he's calling it a Donnybrook. A good old-fashioned Donnybrook. As if we're meant to know what that means. The shillelagh that Sheamus had is cut in half. The sword cuts the shillelagh in half. Pyro shoots up from the corners. The match is official. Look at the smile. Look at the expression on the face of Sheamus there. He chopped his shillelagh in half? Jesus. Oh, my God. Oh! Oh, matron! Look at that. He just absolutely chopped his shillelagh in half. I can't believe it. Is Charlotte distraction causing Ronda to get rolled up? Liv using her foot an okay way to protect Ronda? Yes. Yep, I'm all right with that. Anything that is going to result in Ronda... Look, the only thing I don't want is one-on-one match. Nothing happens. No outside interference. Nothing along those lines. And Liv wins. I just can't buy that. And I'm just being honest. I'm just being honest. I want to support a Liv title reign. But in order to do that, it's got to be credible. So, you know, if Charlotte comes down and distracts, then absolutely. If Shayna Baszler comes down, absolutely. That's all fine. I've got no problems with Liv leaving SummerSlam with the belt. We're backstage with the Usos. Donnybrook means free-for-all brawl. Oh, look at you. Look at you. Right, we've got Paul Heyman, Miss Clown. Thank you for that info. Matt said, Brock walked out saying, if he's gone, I'm gone. Austin Pye said, Theory will try to cash in at SummerSlam and will succeed. And then it will be announced that he'll have to defeat on the next night Seth, which Seth wins, leading to Seth versus Cody. So Theory will win at SummerSlam, lose the title to Seth, and then you get Seth Cody. What's Heyman saying to Usos? Am I understanding Brock did walk out? Yes. Yes. I just thought you didn't want to see Ronda's shoulder pins. No, I just need it to not be clean. I just need it to not be nothing happens and Liv just beats Ronda. But if there's any kind of distraction, you know, I mean, listen, Ronda's human. If Liv can catch Ronda with something, she could do it. But it's just I don't think she can catch her with something. Not without a distraction. Right, here's Raquel Rodriguez. So basically, Paul Heyman said to the Usos, "Can you please deal with Theory?" So Heyman telling the Usos to deal with Theory, basically. Can you leave him face down on the canvas? And can that not be a prediction? Can it please be a spoiler? So we've got the first Shillelagh match, the Donnybrook match. Coming up next week, apparently, Rodriguez is about to take on Sonya Deville. I think Dolph beats Theory for the briefcase and then cashes it in, says Hollywood Guy. Dark Angel said Raquel's back. Do you know what it is time for? Do you know what it is time for? Here we go. Hang on. Halftime scores, everybody, it's the halftime scores. I really want to know your halftime scores. Put it in the chat. Halftime scores, everybody, it's the halftime scores. Are you happy? It's the halftime scores. Are you happy or you sad? Halftime scores, everybody, it's the halftime scores. I should get that recorded. If I got it recorded, I could just press play then. Just sit here like this. Boom, it's time for the halftime scores. Get in your halftime scores. What do you think? What do you think of the show so far? Obviously, massive distraction right at the start. So, I mean, it's still kind of overshadowing everything. So, I don't know what that's going to mean for the scores tonight. But 6 says Hayden, 6 says Jay, 6.5 says Rev. Lots of 6s coming through. 7.5 says Daniel. Justin says 6. Dylan says 5. Jake says 6.5. 1987 Big Fan says 5. Hayden says 6. Joyce the 5'9 says 4. Legend Killer says 6. Dark Angel said 4. Nothing much has happened. Stony 420. Haven't seen the whole show, but from what I've heard, about a 6. 5, nothing's changed. I didn't expect anything to change, Birds. I mean, I think they knew about this a little while ago. Apparently, rumours are they knew about it last week, but I'm not expecting anything to change. You've still got Kevin Dunn. You've still got the same creative team. I think that creative team was largely hired and has been drilled into thinking a certain way as well. So, again, you know, you've got this creative team that has been hired by Vince and told what to write, and you know they're just everything is programmed a certain way. WWE is like a train on a track, and yeah, you know the driver has got off, but it's still on the same track. So until we actually get to you know a junction where we can actually like change direction a little bit, I feel like we are going to be carrying on as usual for a little while. It'll be interesting. Be very interesting. See how long we do carry on this track for, because I think there will be change, but it'll take time. Sean Ross Sapp said that Brock was a heavy focus for SmackDown and they had to change plans. Even if Brock does work SummerSlam, the outcome has become predictable, says LB. Left a comment a few hours ago. What does that mean, buds? What has happened? So Vince has announced his retirement from being CEO and chairman. So that means he's not going to return to that role ever, seemingly. Bit of confusion as to whether he's completely gone. Fightful are reporting they've heard he has completely gone. I certainly think he's out of the way at the moment. And I think that he will return if these allegations kind of nothing comes of them, basically. I mean, he's accused of using business money for the hush money. If that's found to be not true, and if he can kind of explain these allegations against him as well, like if the investigation doesn't throw anything up, I could see him coming back. But I don't think it'd be for next year or anything like that. And to be honest, I just think this is the right time. I think, it feels like the right time because, to be honest, it feels like the pandemic was the end of something. And then, we've come out of lockdown, and I think we were all expecting, I know I was, and I'm sure you were as well, all of this creativity that had been stifled during the lockdown, because there's so much you can't do during lockdown. I mean, returns and things like that, you need the fans. For big returns and big things like that, you need the fans. And the fans hadn't been there. So it kind of felt like everything was on hold. And we were just trying to do what we could whilst the fans were away. And once the fans came back, kind of thought there was going to be this big explosion of creativity. And there wasn't. There wasn't. It never came. We've had stuff. But it's not felt any different. I mean, the Cody stuff was massive. But I feel like that would have happened regardless. I can't say that I'm looking at a lot of these stories thinking, wow, this is really clever. This was a really good story, or, anything massive that's really happened. I feel like that explosion of creativity, that kind of, we're doing something new, something fresh. It never came. And I felt like that was the time, really, that I was expecting it. It never came. So I feel like, Vince going now and potentially us now getting something different. This feels like a good time for it. If anything, I would have said it should have been once we came out of those lockdowns. It should have been, last year. Was it last year? I don't actually know when we came out of them. It feels like it's been about a year. But, because I know there was people at SummerSlam, wasn't there, last year? Because that's obviously where Brock and Becky return. So I think that this is going to be something that will really help them. I think they can actually use this as a positive. They can use it as a positive, but it's really awkward, isn't it? And it's like, yeah, it's really awkward. It's not much. As goodbyes go, this was flipping nothing. I mean, there's been no other mention. They started the show. She started a thank you Vince chant. She says, "I love you, Dad." And that was it. I mean, then the Street Profits came out and it's just been normal SmackDown. KD Dillard said, I think they should get a legit GM for both shows. That's a good shout. I can definitely vibe with that. I can agree with that. I think that they could really benefit by doing that, actually, because they do need some kind of authority figure, I think. Maybe we don't need to go as far as when the authority were in charge before, when it was all McMahon's and it was all authority. But at the moment, we're having to use Adam Pearce and Sonya, and I think that stuff works. I think Adam Pearce has been great in that role, and I think that he could continue to do that role, but he's not needed to do that on both Raw and SmackDown. So I agree. I think that we absolutely could do with keep Adam Pearce for one, and then maybe bring someone else in for Raw. Have you ever watched a WWE studio movie? They are bad. Do you know? I haven't. None of them have ever appealed. I'm not really a movie person at the best of times, and no. I mean, when I was a kid, I watched Suburban Commando, No Holds Barred, Mr. Nanny. I did see. Right, hopefully we're back. As we said, I don't know if I can actually get to it. I wonder if I can. Oh, okay, here they are. It's all popping back up now, which is good. Right, Raquel Rodriguez picks up the victory here. So Raquel Rodriguez beats Shayna Baszler, is it? No, Sonya Deville. You are back, thank you. Good. Right, let's go into these. Coming up, we've got Aaliyah and Lacey Evans. Do you know what, right? Do you know what? How crazy is that? She mentioned Lacey Evans earlier in the show. She mentioned Lacey Evans and said, like, how Lacey had not performed in another match. Does that mean she's about to not do another match here? I mean, it's quite predictable, but I feel like Sonya referenced this earlier in the show, and I feel like that might have been a botch. Raquel beats Sonya. Raquel beats Sonya. Boom. It's a bit blurry now, is it? She was referring to last week, was she? You need to change it from 144. Hey? Lag again. That's very strange. It's very strange because there's nothing this end saying there's a problem. Everything seems to be all right. I don't know if you have to like refresh it or anything. Let me have a look at. No, it looks all right. I'm watching it live. I'm watching it live. It looks good. It looks really good. I'm really funny, actually. I love this guy. Oh, great guy. Great guy. Wish him all the best. They need to put Heyman in charge or someone to delegate, says Larry. Brian said, I haven't got any lag. Well, let's hope it stays away. Sometimes once in a while we can get hit with a bit of it, but hopefully that's it. Looks, I mean, it's saying it's a strong connection now, so. Huff Sports Media said, I think Dolph should cost Theory at SummerSlam, but Theory keeps the briefcase and has Dolph versus Theory. Hang on. Raquel beats Sonya. Raquel beats Sonya. That happened. Vince is booking from the parking lot. Bloodline hasn't expanded. They face the same opponents again and again. Now Roman is skipping a ton of Raws and Smackdowns and pay-per-views. It's been stagnant for months, says Jilly. Roman's momentum is going the wrong way. Mr. Meme said, did you see Tony Khan's tweet? Yeah, I raged about it. If it's the same one, unless it's a different one. But I think that it's absolutely tone deaf, really. I think, I mean, it's difficult because it's hard to sit here and stand up for Vince. But equally, I'm not eager to see people sticking the knife into Vince. Because right now, for me, I don't know what the truth is. I know there's a lot of allegations, and I don't know what the truth is. So, you know, for me, he's retired. I don't see any reason why people can't just be like, you know, respect, fair play, thank you, Vince. You know, I think the way WWE have done it is probably where I am as well. They've come out, they've said something, they've carried on with the show, and I've said, you know, I don't want to like sit here and sing his praises, because we don't know if the allegations are true. But equally, I'm not looking for people to come out and start sticking knives in. That's not where I am. And, you know, I mean, look, you can take it however you want. But Tony Khan coming out saying, I'm grateful now to be the longest tenured CEO in pro wrestling. First of all, he's not going to be. Because there's promotions that are going to flip in. As Anna, I think it was Anna pointed out, Billy Corgan in NWA, you know, has been in the position much longer than Tony Khan. So, I mean, first of all, it's not even factually correct. And it's clearly just designed as a, you know, buy type situation. I'm now the longest reigning pro wrestling, like, you know, chairman, CEO, whatever. I mean, it's just... all it does for me is that if you're on the fence with AEW, if you're someone that's like, you know, I'll give him a chance, I'm not sure kind of thing, that kind of tweet is going to turn you off. That kind of tweet, you'll look at it and you'll be like, forget him and forget his company. And enjoys AEW, and it does it for me. I think that he is a barrier to enjoying AEW, Tony Khan. I really do. I think that he is one of their biggest problems. Because I think that he has got good intentions, but I just don't think that he's got any kind of media training. And, you know, the way that he's grabbing a hold of people, looking really awkward, is awkward. The way that, you know, he, like, tweets out and takes little shots at people and shots at things, I think that's, you know, not great look either. Just, I don't know, man. Just get a bit of class. Get a bit of class. He never took John Cena's words, did he, of rise above hate? Just rise above it. Tony Khan's approach is get stuck in with it. Get stuck in. Just get stuck in with hate. Become best friends with hate. Right, we've got Aaliyah in the ring. Aaliyah in the ring. So she's not going to be Maxxine Dupree, is she? If she's in the ring now, at least looks unlikely. Right. Here we go. Lacey Evans. She's actually getting over with me now. I love the fact that she is a hero. She's a hero that just gets boos from the crowd. This is unbelievable. She put her life on the line. She grabs someone's sign, chucks it away. Aaliyah is in the ring. Lacey Evans showing off her jacket. Absolute legends. I'm watching this on Fox. Says Pablo. There was some lag. I just want to make sure that we're all up to date with the super chats. I think we are. I think since we came back, I'm up to date. I won't lie. I do like Lacey's new theme, says Scott. Tony Khan's Forbidden Door is 1 million. Here's Lacey. She's going to cut a promo. Lacey is the greatest female wrestler of all time. Lots of boos. Lots of boos for Lacey. You people should be ashamed. I don't expect you to know this. But Boston was founded by American heroes. Hardworking. Motivated. Good people. Like her. Just like her. She's a good person. I mean, look, she loves the Bushwhackers. You can tell by her ring gear. Yeah. You tell them. Boston is a dump. I tell Triple T that every week. Yeah, she's done more today. Yeah. Than all of you. You tell them. Yeah. I'm looking at these kids. What? I'm looking at all these kids, looking up at their moms, asking, what have you accomplished lately? Nothing! You tell them, Lacey, you tell those kids. Their parents have done nothing. Lacey is here for the kids. I'm better than every single one of you. She is. I'll take care of you in a minute. Give me the respect. Nice strike there by Lacey as Aaliyah goes down. She salutes and walks away. So we don't get the match, but we do get easily my favorite ever Lacey Evans promo. My absolute favorite. Do you know what? I might even go as far as to say my all-time favorite Lacey Evans moment. This is a woman that's not given me many, but that one line, I'm seeing the kids look up to their moms asking, what have you done lately? Nothing! It's a great line. Great line. Well done, Lacey. I'm a believer. When did she become a heel? I'm confused. Oh, here's Double J. Double J, Jeff Jarrett. What an honor it is, says Double J. Those guys have offered me everything under the sun. So he's talking about how he's being bribed. This is the biggest tag match in SummerSlam history. All the titles are on the line. Maybe it's time to take out the Brock Lesnar returns. Yeah, probably. They need a man that can get the job done. That man is Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett. That man is Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett walks away. Usos making their way down. Right, so we've got half an hour to go, so it looks like we might be going over to our main event. Undisputed WWE Tag Team Chat. Are we going to find out who Maxxine Dupree is, though? Where's the Maximum Male Model segment? We can't do that whilst they're in the ring, can we? Unless we're going to close the show with it. What if Vince is Maxxine Dupree? Oh my God! Vince McMahon! Vince McMahon has retired from backstage so that he can become Maxxine Dupree! Is Maxxine Dupree the main event tonight? I don't understand. Help me understand. Someone help me. Oh my God. Have you seen the brutal video of Ric Flair being beaten up? I have. It was good. Brock is gone from WWE, says Krish. I'm a fashionista, pal. Listen, whenever I think about Vince, I always think about high fashion. When I think about Vince, I always think about beachwear collection and how much I'm desperate to see him be a part of one. So it's very important that during these turbulent times, WWE give us what we want. And I already know that I speak for you all when I say that that is absolutely what you guys are going to be clamoring for. You're going to want to see Vince in that beachwear collection. And listen, you've got, what, 20 minutes? It's going to happen. Brock is Maxxine Dupree, said Chrome's Chosen. Jilly said SmackDown has been worse than Raw for months. Even Roman can't carry the show alone. Wait, so Brock is not competing at SummerSlam? Well, we don't know. I mean, he's walked out. That's as much as we know. But WWE haven't announced anything. They haven't said there's a change. There are definitely reports doing the rounds that there's alternatives that they've got lined up that can step in. But nothing, correct me if I'm wrong, but I ain't seeing nothing saying that that's it. And he's definitely out, and he's been replaced, and that's it. So right now, I'm still expecting Brock versus Roman, but yes, it's clearly a situation there that needs to be resolved. It was meant to be all over tonight's show. Lacey is a waste of spacey. That's what you should have said. Hype man, I've made your comment better. Lacey is a waste of spacey. Roman Reigns is a bad champion because he never shows up, says Jonathan. Dylan said, Days, is Roman even here tonight? He never shows up now. I don't know if he's there, to be honest. I don't know that he was advertised, so I'm not expecting him. So I'm going to lean towards no. New writers probably weren't made aware that the segment was supposed to be on the show, says Seekins. I mean, I'm not aware there are new writers. So Vince was overseeing creative. But obviously this is You know, this is something that they haven't brought in new writers or anything. Like, the same creative team is going to remain. It's just that Vince at the top. And plus, they would have known. Like, this is a segment that they've been advertising. They advertised it last week. We could still get it. I think if it gets dropped, that's going to be very interesting. Because on a show where Brock Lesnar was meant to take up a lot of time, and that segment was advertised, they've got all that Brock Lesnar time now. So there is absolutely no reason why you would drop Maximum Male Models. There's no reason to drop it. Because it was meant to be part of a show along with Brock. Brock came out. So if you've got to fill those Brock segments, you would think that you would still stick with something you had advertised. I honestly am thinking it's going to be the main event. I'm honestly thinking we're going to have this match, and then after the match, they do the Maximum Male Model thing. And maybe it leads to a feud. I don't know. Perhaps Maxxine is revealed, and then as the models are standing there, someone attacks and it ends in a brawl. That's not. I could see that end in SmackDown, like a big brawl. Don't know who would attack them. We're back from commercial break. I don't think Maxxine is going to happen because last night it's not at SmackDown. Who's she? Who the flip is she? Well, there she is. So they've moved it to next week. So beachwear moves to next week. But who is she? Is that who is she? I thought it was Dana Brooke at first. She looks like Dana Brooke. I don't know who she is. I don't know if she's one of those next in line nil people. Never seen her before. I don't know. Yeah, everyone's saying who is she? I don't know. I don't know. Fightful will surely be trying to find out. I can only imagine she's someone that is from that next in line kind of thing that has skipped NXT. I acknowledge Lacey. She's a heel of face. I will always be a fan. Is the lady pretty? Of course. Aren't all ladies, Sonny? No, they're not, but she is. Donnie Brooke match. An old-fashioned Donnie Brooke match next week. So, Maxxine Dupree, that was Taya Hale. A girl got signed while she was in high school. Is that her name? Her name is Taya Hale. I acknowledge her. Is that Thea Hale? Thea Hale? Taya Hale? Never heard of her. Let's have a look. Tia Hale. Tia Hale? Is that how you pronounce it? Hale Fire. Yeah, it does look like her. Tune into NXT to see Hale of a field trip. Apparently, she's been on, I think that's her, on NXT Level Up. Is that her on the left? Kind of looks like her. Does look like her. There, look, there's another picture of her. Does look like her. It was Sophia Cromwell. Everyone's getting excited. I just want to know who it is. It does. I can definitely see why people are saying it was her. It does look like her. I'm not saying it is her. I'm saying it looks like her. Some others saying it was Sophia Cromwell. Who is Maxxine Dupree? Trying to find out. Mitchell said, is WWE's new thing just announce a match every week and then finally by the 4th week of advertising we get it? I'm tired of being slapped in the face. Sophia Cromwell, Maxxine Dupree is not a bad idea. Makes sense for Ginny to be... Well, it's not Ginny. Let's have a look. Sophia Cromwell is the boast. A lot of people saying it's Sophia Cromwell. Maxxine Dupree. Maxxine Dupree is Sophia Cromwell, manager of Von Wagner. Don't know nothing about her. Who the flip is she? You would have complained if it was Ginny. Okay. Sophia Cromwell. Who the flip is Sophia Cromwell? Let's try and learn about her. Sophia Cromwell. Sophia Cromwell is currently signed under the name Sophia Cromwell. Currently signed on NXT under the name Sophia Cromwell. She was a cheerleader for the LA Rams and Phoenix Suns. She competed in a tryout in 2022. That's it. I mean, there is no flipping information here. Someone said she was a former manager of Von Wagner. Here's some reactions to her photo shoots. God, like I care. Myla Moore and Sophia Cromwell are supposed to be a tag team. She's like Carmella. Well, hang on, let's get physical. Let's get an image. I don't actually. I was going to say I've got a picture of her. And I haven't got a picture of her. I lied. Sophia Cromwell. So, well, anyway. I don't think she's been involved in much. She certainly doesn't resonate with me. Sophia Cromwell. La. There she is. Bang. Beachwear collection coming next week. Wasn't expecting the chat to go this crazy over her. Here we go. Oh, yeah, there we go. So it's been revealed that Sophia Cromwell, someone that I'm really not familiar with, has been revealed as Maxxine Dupree. And the swimwear, beachwear collection segment has been moved to next week, which is quite a surprise, actually. I don't really know why they did that, because obviously this show was meant to have Brock all over it. Brock walked out after that Vince McMahon retirement information news came through. He basically said, if Vince goes, I go. So it's not like they were struggling for time. They've had to fill a lot of this show. So I'm quite surprised that we didn't get it. Don't know the reasons why. But the bigger story is this lady that you see on screen is the new Maxxine Dupree. She was known as Sophia Cromwell down in NXT. I think she's only recently been signed. Apparently she was hanging around with Von Wagner for a hot second and doing something like being like kind of in the background with him. But she's not someone that I really know anything about. I did just read that she is a former cheerleader. Apparently she was a cheerleader for the LA Rams and for the Phoenix Suns. So that's kind of her background. So that would kind of suggest maybe her in-ring is a bit limited. Although saying that, I've got to think if they're moving her to the main roster, she could just be a valet. But eventually I'm guessing she will be involved in matches. Pretty much everyone normally is. So, yes, it's very, very interesting. Obviously, we've got Mansoir. We've got Marseille. Now we've got Maxxine Dupree. And I do think, because we don't know much about her, this is a very interesting development. I think the reaction online has been very positive. I think people wanted it to be a bit of a name. And I think there's a bit of disappointment there. But I think the fact we don't know anything about her, we've got no, like, preconceptions, It's not like, oh, they've ruined her because I don't know anything about her. I actually quite like that. This definitely makes this group feel refreshing. I want to learn more about this woman and see, obviously, what she's going to bring. I mean, I was into Maximum Male Models anyway, because I think they're just classic heels, you know, showing off, basically. And I think it gives Marseille something to do. It gives Mansoir something to do. And now we've got this lady. So, yeah, very interesting. Sophia Cromwell. Don't know anything about her because there's nothing to know. She hasn't been involved in any major programs as far as I know. As I said, she's just been in the background with Von Wagner. So she has been revealed to be Maxxine Dupree. Where do we go from here? That's the question. Where do we go from here? Gunther is divorced. I believe he did get a divorce, Gunther, yes. I mean, not tonight. Okay, get rid of her. Her beauty is too distracting. Do you watch NXT and not stream it, or do you just not watch it? I don't watch it. I've got nothing against it. It's not like I hate on it or anything. I just don't. I just try to use the time for like other things. I've said before, a massive shout out to everyone that's been watching those debut videos. I've put up about 5 now. I've done a video on the debut of Kofi and looked at the vignettes that led to his first match. I've done loads actually. I've done Kofi. I've done Brock. I can tell you what tomorrow's is. Tomorrow's is Rey Mysterio. So Rey Mysterio's debut, how he arrived in WWE, that will drop on the channel tomorrow. But I had Randy Orton today, Kofi yesterday. We've done Alexa Bliss. We've done... who else have we done? There's another one and I'm forgetting. Cody Rhodes. The Cody Rhodes one was very popular. So, yeah, really appreciate the support. Really do, because that has been where a lot of my focus, a lot of my time has been going. And I am working on the Shield at the moment, but the Shield, I'm sure you can appreciate, is going to be a real big one. That I don't know when it will be on the channel, but I am working on that at the moment. But tomorrow is definitely Rey. I know that much. Maxxine Dupree revealed as Sophia Cromwell. We're not too far away as well from... we're not too far away from the end of the show and from our post-show as well. So, Maxxine Dupree is revealed. Brock Lesnar said he's done. Why is there an Ultimate Edition of him holding both belts? Okay, so that Ultimate Edition is one of the stupidest stories I've seen in a long, long time. Like, it's ridiculous that that's even a story. Because there is absolutely zero way, zero chance that Mattel are told the results of matches. And I said last night during that figure stream that they don't get told stuff. So they won't know as to what's happening. And don't forget as well, that was not even the match. The match that we were meant to get at SummerSlam was meant to be Randy Orton taking on Roman. And it got changed last minute recently to Brock Lesnar. I think that figure is a figure based on WrestleMania. Because don't forget, at WrestleMania, he came in as the WWE champion and he was competing for Roman's championship. Now, he didn't win the match. He ended up losing the match. But I think just the fact that he was involved in that match and the fact that Mattel want to include as many like accessories in those sets as they can, it means that they can include both belts because he competed for both belts at WrestleMania. Now, once they put that set together, there was no way that they were going to know that that was going to be a match at SummerSlam because the plan would have been that it was Randy Orton against Roman Reigns. And I know how frustrated Mattel get at not getting like information. They want information about what's happening in the future, but they can't get it. I mean, it's on a need-to-know basis, and Mattel do not need to know. But they would love to know what people are wearing at next year's WrestleMania so that they can start making those figures now. They would love to know who's going to win what so that they can start, making things now. They are just not on that need-to-know basis. So for me, that Ultimate Edition that got shown is about WrestleMania. It's got nothing to do with SummerSlam. So the fact that's even a story just blows my mind. That is reaching. But I think maybe for those that don't know like how that works, or maybe don't know how involved Mattel are, then maybe they see it as being a story. But no way. I've said before, I'm not 100% normally on anything. I'm 100% on that. Maximum male models. Are you going back to watching United games, or are you going to quit Football Days? So, Football Days isn't returning for the season. I mean, I can't say that there might not be the odd stream. I wouldn't limit myself as to say, no, that's it, the channel's dead. When it comes to, like, finals or maybe, like, some key Champions League games, I could still end up doing some stuff. I mean, it's there, so I could do it. World Cup's happening, but... no, I mean, like, as the season goes, it's not the focus. Right, we are back to the action, and it is the six-man tag match. We've got 11 minutes to go. Maxxine Dupree is the newest member of MMM. Delwyn said, WrestleVotes has said on Twitter an hour ago that WWE is trying to get Brock back in the building and try and talk this out. Yep. I haven't seen that, thank you. But, yeah, I completely believe. I mean, why would... Brock walks out, why would you just turn around and go, well, that's that then? God, I wish there was something we could do. But that's that. I mean, clearly our hands are tied here. I mean, you wouldn't, would you? You'd be, like, calling him. You'd be calling him, and you'd be trying to get him back so that you can save, SummerSlam. It's heat at the moment. I mean, I said earlier, I respect his loyalty. I respect his loyalty to Vince. I do respect that. It's not right. It is unprofessional, and he shouldn't have done it. But I do respect his loyalty to Vince. I think there's something that I appreciate him having that response. He's looked at Vince being, like, in his eyes, forced out, and he's like, no, I ain't having that. And he's walked. It's unprofessional, but there's a little part of me that goes, Hopefully they call him, get it sorted, get him back. But it is, listen, I'm going to keep saying it because I don't want anyone thinking there's double standards when there isn't. It is unprofessional of Brock to walk out tonight. But thank you for that, Delwyn. I appreciate that. Six-man tag. So we are underway with this six-man tag main event of the evening. Is not loyal to Vince. He's loyal to money, says Corvid. He always has been, and he's shown many times he's got no loyalty to Vince or anyone. He's not showing that now, though, is he? I mean, it's in his interest. If he walks away from SummerSlam, he's walking away from being paid. If he was loyal to money, he would not have walked out. He would have stayed, took the money, and continued to take the money. Instead, I don't see how him walking away is him being, like, loyal to money. I mean, look, we're not saying that he's flipping cuddly bear, nicest guy in the world. You know, he's clearly out for himself. You know, in this dog-eat-dog world, there's many that aren't in the WWE. Everyone's trying to get a better position in the company, and you know, make as much as they can. And Brock's doing the exact same thing. It's just that Brock has managed to get himself, because of his look, into a position of power that many others don't get, basically. Anna said, reports that Brock is being begged to come back is seriously a bad look after the Sasha Naomi debacle. They get roasted and he gets paid double standards. I think it's different reasons, though. It's different reasons. Like, Sasha and Naomi walked out for themselves. Brock's walked out for Vince. He's not walked out because he's not happy about his creative. He's walked out seemingly because he feels that Vince is being forced out of his own company. I feel like they are different. I mean, you can boil it down to both walked out, and one is being begged to come back. The other's being told, well, by Vince, we don't know what they're being told. We don't know what's been going on. I don't know that they've been begged to come back, but Vince was seemingly very, very angry with them. And I can't imagine they were being begged. But I don't know. It's difficult. It's difficult. I can definitely see why people would look at it that way. I think I look at it as Sasha and Naomi walked out because they weren't happy at the creative they were given. Brock has not walked out for that. He's walked out because he feels, maybe wrongfully, that Vince has been forced out of his own company. And that has upset him to the point where he's walked away. And actually, that's it. He's prepared. If he's walked out, I've got to guess that he's prepared to just walk out. He doesn't need the money. It doesn't matter to Brock if he comes back or not. It matters more to WWE. I don't know that you can say that for Naomi. I think that it matters more to Naomi that she's in WWE than it matters to WWE. So there's quite a lot of play there. It is interesting, and there will be people that are on different sides of the argument. Theory hurls the briefcase at... he's walloping him, man. He's absolutely walloping him. He's beating down Madcap. So he's walloping Madcap with that briefcase. And again, he's been DQ'd. There's another difference. Brock is scheduled for the main event of the Big Four. Sasha and Naomi were not, says Trini. Yeah, there's another difference as well, though, and that is that Sasha and Naomi walked out during a show, whereas Brock walked out before a show. So it allowed them to actually change things so that Brock's music's hit. Brock's come out! Oh, my God! The Beast! The Beast! The conversation's over! The conversation's over! The Beast has come out! That's how you do it. Look at that. Big smile on his face. Brock Lesnar is making his way down to the ring. I tell you what, that's quite the moment. Just as we were talking about him and where the unprofessionalism lies, Brock Lesnar is here. Brock Lesnar is circling around the ring. Brock got paid. Brock is owed an apology. No. Brock's still unprofessional. This show apparently he was meant to be all over it. So, apparently in the open and all that kind of stuff. He's come out for the end. He's definitely, all of those rumors and everything will go to bed. I mean, this is big because it confirms he's back on board. He's back at SummerSlam. But apparently he was meant to be all over this show. So my feelings about him walking out and being unprofessional haven't changed. But I still stand by the fact that I think the reason for him doing it is different to him and Sasha and Naomi. F5 by Brock. Brock's walloping Theory. This could be Roman Reigns next Saturday night. Brock's got that Money in the Bank briefcase. Wallops Theory with it. Oh my God, says Jake. We don't know if it was unprofessional, if this is scripted. There's no way that we don't know it's not a work. Can't judge professionalism without knowing details. Well, we can judge it if the details we're told are true. So if what we're told is true, and what is being reported is true, which is what we're commenting on, then we can react to that. I mean, otherwise, if you don't react to that kind of backstage rumors and news, we'd sit here largely in silence. So I think, listen, that's my take on it. I've not changed position on it all night. I think that rumors are he was meant to be all over this show. That was reported by Fightful. Rumors are he walked out. That was being reported by a few different sources. I think he's unprofessional for doing that. I think if you are advertised and meant to be on the show, you do it. They've managed to get him back by the looks of it for the end of the show. That's great. Means he's still on board. Means he's going to be at SummerSlam. Means that, we still get this big moment where he beats down Theory. It's a big end to the show. It's a bit of a save, if you will. So, I mean, it's good. It's good in the end. We've got somewhere positive, but, I don't know, man. I can't sit here and say that he's, what's gone down tonight is, top-tier professionalism. My boy, Cowboy Brock, is coming, says Delwyn. Days had the title right after all. Brock returns! Razor Ramon debut would be good. Yeah, I agree. That would be great. That absolutely will go on the list, bud. That'll absolutely go on the list. Right, I'm going to shoot. The show has ended. It's ended with Brock beating down Austin Theory. We will be back in 10 minutes for a full breakdown of the show. We'll do the scores. We'll go through everything. We'll talk about Vince. We'll just absolutely fly through everything. It's going to be the one-stop shop. We'll be back in 10 minutes' time. Let's end with Paulie. Paulie, 1988, said, I wonder if Theory cashes in on Lesnar after this. Good point. It's a good point. I wonder that as well. I think if there is to be a cash-in, personally, I think it fails. But we can touch on that in 10 minutes' time. So I will see you over on the review in a few minutes' time. Bye for now.